single, let alone run 4. Bairstow has pulled that away through mid-wicket. That's one bounce and into the fence now. Terrific shot.
1 2 ka 4 4 2 ka 1. My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
So 60 without loss, 9 overs completed. The run rate now up to close to 7, and England have really started to put their foot on the gas a little bit. Helped, I have to say, by some, whether Bangladesh have been off to some very, very tight early bowling. They've seemed to have lost their radar just a wee bit now and again. That might just be that England have set out with more aggressive intent, and they've been sort of slightly knocked sideways.
I think Shakib's dropped a couple short. Shaifuddin definitely bowled a couple of very friendly half volleys in that last over.
He did, and England have not been slow to tuck in. I wouldn't say the buffet's open, but there's a few aperitifs that have been there to nibble.
They're tapping on the glass.
Can I just make a request to the green room? Can someone check the Facebook and YouTube feeds?
Sorted, says IT for the day, Hendo. We're all crossing ourselves and bowing our heads in prayer.
Oh, mighty Hendo.
But we shall see. We shall see how it goes. We're just having another look at Bairstow. Just that deer was dropped short by Shakib Al Hasan.
Yes, he knew it. Yeah.
He knew it. He turns around. His eyes are closed. His head thrown back.
Yeah, he also didn't want to watch that ball go for 4.
Had all day. This one again is pulled away into the onside. They will only take a single. There is a man down there.
I'd wish he'd move his feet. Jason Roy.
Overrated.
All this footwork? Nah. Look at Chris Gale. Nah. Just stand there and bunt it. That's all you got to do.
No. I just wish he'd move his feet. He'd be so much better if he moved his feet.
Yep. I think green room, there might be a change at the end of this over. Just a gentle hint.
Oh, I will then provide you with a couple of tweets then in between balls.
That will be fabulous. Let's wait for Shaifuddin to. Does he kiss the ball at every run?
Yeah, sure, that's advisable.
And that is whipped away to mid-wicket by Johnny Bairstow.
I wouldn't do that some of the places I've played.
Is that not also an illegal substance on the ball?
Well, it's a very chaste kiss. It's not a full moiling tongue.
No tongues.
Snog. I mean, it's just a gentle touch of the lips. I think let's not overstate it.
We've only known each other for 9 balls.
Well, it's 18 balls actually. In Shaifuddin's case. He's in again. That one is crunched back over his head again. One bounce before it. Second bounce thumps into the boundary sponge for 4 more.
Now my innings going. Great guns. I hit the ball. 4 runs. I hit the ball and it went for 4 runs.
I think we're seeing
Shaifuddin just was too full.
The difference between the difference between early 80s and high 80s, early 90s seems to be fairly evident here.
They're finding time. England, the beauty I think at the moment is Shaifuddin is in, and Roy is doing a very fine job actually of being aggressive when he needs to be, but playing the good balls well, and he played that one solidly enough in defence. 66 England have moved on to. We are 1 ball shy of the end of the 10th over. That is the cue for a little shuffle of your commentary team.
It's
Roy
going
on
to be
38.
Jack. Who else is coming in?
I'm ducking out.
It's Nick, is it? Yes, it is.
So we'll take the opportunity for tweets. If you stay and just do those before you hand over to the next person. Shaifuddin is in. That one is flicked. And there's no chance for Mushfiqur, I don't think. Oh, but there is a long leg down there, so
no, I think
it will limit the damage.
I think he took something off that. I think.
Did he take something off that a wee bit?
Yeah.
It was a leg bye.
67 for no wicket.
60 indeed. 67 without loss. A run rate of 6.7.
Do you want a jingle or do you want to
have a change?
I will just quickly do some tweets.
Yep.
Monk says that jingle indeed was one of his. Christ the Choir. Strange post by the BBC website. A fluent cover drive to the fences followed by another Roy boundary. As Shakib drops another England and the English Open is up to 0. Nice to know that the BBC can count. James, all the talk of flat tracks and 500 in the build-up. I'm loving these games where the openers actually have to be a little cautious and can't go at 10 and over from the start. That absolutely is right. We've got some fair contests on good, decent pitches. Peter Lloyd says, while a no-run 4 is worth jingle, I'd recommend that the mentions 4 and not a boundary. But beggars can't be choosers. I will speak to you all a little bit later on.
Thanks, Alan. Joined on my right by Nick, who will hopefully be cognizant of some such things when he's jingling. Just watch out for that one next time there's an all-run 4.
Have we got a jingle for that?
No, but apparently the jingle we played mentioned boundary, so...
Well, I'll sing one if we get another one.
And on my left on the tweets, it's going to be Jack.
Hello, how's everyone doing?
Good. Well, I think this has been a very interesting power play. Certainly Bangladesh on top for the first 4 or 5 overs, but the England openers weathered the storm and opened their shoulders a bit in those last 3 or 4. So they're 67 for naught, and I would say if you're scoring that, that's a little 10 over spell to England.
Oh yeah, that was my thinking as well. And the green room was saying that obviously first 5 overs because obviously they've both got out early on in both the respective games,
yep.
So they've done well to dig in, and the last few overs they played some beautiful shots, to be fair.
Yeah, and England coming up a little bit short of the runs they're accustomed to in the last 2 games, but as you say, in neither of those games did they have an opening partnership, so
Exactly, yeah.
this should help. Mustafizur is into the attack, left arm over, pulled by Jason Roy, past the umpire. There's probably someone down there. There is. It's 1 run, so can we give Mustafizur a little jingle? A bit of a misfield from him early on, so we'll see if he can get his fizz back. He's only 23. Seems like he's been around a long time.
How old is he? 23?
23, yeah. I mean, you're almost looking at him thinking he looks a bit, creaky in the field, but I guess he did burst onto the scene at 18.
Yeah, mate. I mean, to be fair, I think maybe because a lot of the rest of the Bangladesh team's quite experienced, you sort of feel that maybe all of them. Been around forever.
Bairstow back on strike. He's on 27 after, again, a very slow start for him, but he's caught back up.
Well, I hope he gets a score for my fantasy team. He's my captain. So.
Well, that's what's important.
That is what's important.
Clips that beautifully into the leg side. Is that into the gap? I think it is. Long on's going to come round. He's not going to get there, and a tease for the fielder. That is 4 runs.
1 2 ka 4 2 ka 1. My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
Sun's out, guns out in Cardiff. That actually looks quite pleasant there
It
now.
does look quite nice, doesn't it? And the ground's filling up steadily as well as
there's quite a big Bangladeshi population in Cardiff, so plenty of green shirts in the crowd as well, which is good to see.
Yeah,
There is everywhere Bangladesh go. Got good support.
Yep.
Nice and loud.
they were brilliant against
good atmosphere.
South Africa, I thought.
Yeah, looked good.
Brilliant.
Mustafizur in again. Short, Bairstow knocks it into the offside. There won't be a run there.
Have we seen a oversized plush tiger in the crowd yet?
One or two.
Do they have to pay for their own tickets, or?
I don't know. It takes like on an airplane. If it takes up a seat.
You'd be a bit upset if you were sat next to a guy with one in.
On an airplane.
We've got a tweet here, May Caddy at Gorilla Cricket. Hi, we're on the train to Taunton for the New Zealand-Afghan game. Can you tell Nakul Pandey that we waved to him, but he was too busy discussing cricket with other trained people? That sounds like Nakul, doesn't it?
Exactly right. That's Mia Katie out there on her way to Taunton. Chopped down to third man by Bairstow, and they come back for a comfortable 2.
Gorillas on tour.
Gorillas very much on tour, and they're going to be watching Afghanistan play New Zealand from 1:30 today. We will, of course, keep you in touch with that. I don't think we're going to.
It's on SE, isn't
the full
it?
game.
South Africa.
Thank you, Jack. The full game's going to be on Gorilla South Africa, and you'll have a choice while both these games are on. And when this one's finished, you'll be able to switch over for commentary on Afghanistan versus New Zealand.
We keep you covered across both channels.
Interesting. New Zealand have won their 2 games so far. One against Sri Lanka and one against Bangladesh. As Mustafizur comes in again. Full onto the pads, and it's flicked away down to deep square, and it'll be another single.
Made a bit of a hash of the Bangladesh one, to be honest.
They almost did make a hash of the Bangladesh one, and with respect, somebody has to be the weakest 3 teams in the tournament, and I suggest those would be them.
I would say so. Yeah.
But if you win those first 3 games, it gives you a lot of points in the bag, and the more difficult games come around.
I mean, South Africa obviously got a bit screwed over by playing England and India in their first 3 games, but they had the Bangladesh game that they should have. Well, they must have targeted that to win, and obviously Bangladesh put in a fantastic performance.
I wouldn't say screwed. You've got this is the benefit of the format. Everyone plays everyone, but I do take your point that they have to bear that in mind. Flick down to long leg. That would be another easy single for Jason Roy.
They just showed a bit of a slow motion, maybe of Johnny Bairstow running a little bit gingerly.
Okay, that's one.
Hopefully not, but
That's one
keep
to
an eye on.
I wasn't aware that he was carrying any injury. He maybe just tweaked something at the start of this game.
Got a Chris TB. Suns out, guns out. Does that count as advocating violence, or is it similar to the film thing?
Yeah, by that I mean bicep guns.
And then Nestle boy, way eye Jack. Got it, Nestle. How are you doing?
76 for no wicket after 11 overs. Bangladesh be pleased, only 2 extras. That's quite disciplined from them.
Yeah, I mean, who was it? It was West Indies.
West Indies
How many wides
gave
they got?
more than the number of runs they lost by, definitely.
Yeah, but I think at one point their extras were Australia's highest score until Smith and Colton.
Played a
Niles.
game last Sunday. We conceded 47 extras, and worse than that, I was keeping wicket.
47 extras.
The other team were close. I didn't look. Roy punches that one up to long off, and there'll be no run. Yeah, I'm still. I'm very much a fledgling wicket keeper. I'm terrible, but I also kind of had second game syndrome because I did it first game without expecting to do it and just sort of did whatever. Then it's often the way. The second time you do something is more difficult than the first. There's a little bit of expectation. Roy back on strike. He's batted more than twice. Luckily for England, that's over the top. I hope there's not a man there for it. There's not. It's over the boundary. One of the ground staff tries to catch it, falls on the covers. Everyone marks at it. 6.
That was pathetic attempt by the ground staff.
Considering that most of them are at least apprentice professional cricketers, yeah, it wasn't great.
I hope he's not.
I think he kind of went back for it and then caught his knee on the cover and sort of fell back onto the inflatable cover. That's what he's going to say anyway. Nice shot from Jason Roy though, because it wasn't that full, but he just put the full face of the bat through.
It's a beautiful
He's
shot.
going to tuck into those short straight boundaries against these kind of medium pace Bangladeshi bowlers.
Oh, come on!
Oh mate, that's right down your throat. Burst through the hand.
It's a good job his face wasn't in the way, because that would have been
Face
a
crack,
painful
yeah.
one.
Oh, lovely shot again from him. That's going to be 50. He's just flicked that through. First slip, 4 runs and 50 for Jason Roy.
When you're 50, sometimes you drink till you pass out on the floor. Now your liver's destroyed and you got hemorrhoids and you can barely get it up anymore.
A little bit personal, that jingle. A bit triggery. Here comes Shaifuddin again, and this one is just clipped up to long on. That'll be an easy single.
He's been expensive so far, hasn't he?
He's gone for a lot. They've stuck with him, though.
Yeah. I mean, is he their fastest bowler?
77 miles an hour, that ball.
Well, yes, even so, he still might be.
That's what I was thinking, mate. We've got a couple of tweets here. At Gorilla Cricket, I don't think... Oh, sorry, Dave Wood. I don't think Bairstow and Gingerly are mutually exclusive. Bairstow always runs gingerly. In fact, he does everything gingerly.
Yes, thank you.
That was Peter Jones, that one.
Yeah. 87 for naught, England. Length ball played back to the bowler, but there's enough bounce off that. The bowler gets a hand on it and helped out by mid-off, and there's no run.
Mogg says the 6 jingle is also his work.
Yeah, well, you know, you're living up to your own stereotype a little bit, Mogg. I mean, give us some trance jingles or some ambient jingles.
Ambient jingle, yeah.
I'd like that. You'd riff off the orb for about 4 minutes on a jingle. 808 state. Bairstow now on strike, punches it to cover. Who has dropped it? Did they get a single?
Hit into the advertising boards of Canada.
Yep. When I say dropped, it bounced well before him, and they did prevent the run. So, 87 for no wicket. Jason Roy on 51 now. What kind of score is Jason Roy eyeing up at this point?
Well, I think he needs a score, to be honest, because...
It'd be nice for him, yeah.
I mean, I just thought the last game, obviously, he dropped that, a dolly of a catch, and then he hit 2 nice boundaries before playing a pretty awful sweep shot. Got him out LBW, so I think he needs this... He needs this big score.
Not like he's going to be dropped, but
not just for his confidence.
For his, and again, it's a function of the format. You get 9 games to play yourself into form.
Of course.
Shakib's going to continue. 0 for 26 off his 5. It's the other end has been a problem. 61 have come from the other 7 overs.
Armchair Cricket Podcast says, good day, Gorilla Cricket. England seem to have set their stall out for 400. I'm not sure about that yet, but it's looking
more like that than it was after 5 overs.
Definitely, yeah.
Deep square leg, a deep cover point and a long off. We've also got, I was right, the deep square leg, and I'm sure there's a long on in there somewhere. Is Shakib going to go over the wicket at this point? Just trying to see where the non-striking batsman is. A lot of waving around. No, he's still going to go round the wicket. They're still moving fielders around. Wants to get this just right. And a nice thank you for that graphic, which always helps. And yeah, a man square on each side and a long on and a long off.
Mog, Andy, careful what you wish for. I'm reaching for my sins as we speak. So.
No, I'd love to hear that, Mog. I love that. Yeah, here comes Shakib round the wicket into the pads. That should be a wide. I think that's only the second wide of the innings. But it is down the leg side. Re-bowls that one on a very strange shot by Jason Roy. Almost pulled his left shoulder away and sort of swatted it on the bounce to extra cover, but again there's no run. That one's tossed up, but an inside edge from Roy. It's interesting field from Bangladesh. The Bear would be delighted because they haven't got one short mid-wicket, they've got 2 to cover that shot. Shakib again got away with 3 dots, and that's going to be another one. Well bowled, or rather a wide and 3 dots now, I should say. Also taking the pace off there, down to 47 miles an hour. Got to be careful not to put it into the slot at that pace though.
The slot?
Yep. See what he does with this one. Oh, again, Roy kind of steps away, gets an inside edge down to backward square leg, and it'll just be 1. So he looked a bit discomforted there, Jason Roy, for a moment.
He's a good bowler, Shakib.
Knows what he's doing, but
picks up wickets, to be fair.
He's wily.
Yeah. He is wily. I mean, he is the top-ranked ODI all-rounder in the world. If you put Store in those rankings.
What them IDs? Those ones that have Jason Roy's the 18th ODI batsman in the world.
Well,
yeah?
as I say, take it as you will.
And don't have Rashid Khan as top.
As top bowler, do they not? Played back to the bowler by
as top all-rounder, I would say.
Oh, but he doesn't do that much with the bat in ODIs. He's not scoring. He's not scoring 70 or 80 like Shakib. Oh, outside edge from Bairstow goes down to short third man. There's no run. Good over there from Shakib. Only 2 from it. No, but Shakib's scoring 70s and 80s at number 4.
Well, Rashid bats a bit lower than that, I think, doesn't he?
Well, yeah, but you can't just say, oh well, you bat number 9, so 10 not out is the same as.
Yeah.
Anyway, but what I was going to say is he has used up 6 overs. He's only got 4 left. And they'll have to think about whether they want to save some of those for later on.
Got a couple of tweets here. Lennox Lear, careful what you wish for. I could do some Tangerine Dream style ones, but I doubt you have 20 minutes every time someone hits a 4. Evil Scootus, hello at Gorilla Cricket, only following 2 simultaneous sports today, so feeling a bit like everything's happening in slow motion.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Hoping for a boil over in one of today's matches.
Yeah, not really any football today. Yeah.
No, there's not. And then Cherry Hinterland at Gorilla Cricket, very high marks for whoever said advertising boards of Canada. Also, good morning. Also, music has the rights to cricket.
I didn't get that I didn't get that reference.
Do you not know Boards of Canada?
No.
You check it out if you like a bit of ambient style electronic music.
I'm a bit more old school. The Orb, Future Sound of London.
Yeah.
Anyway,
sound convinced?
No, Future Sound of London is good, but not as good as Boards of Canada.
Okay, well,
very nice.
Maybe we could get some ambient jingles for test matches. It would fit in a bit better, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Bit of a slower
vibe. Yeah.
That's a good idea. That.
In comes Mustafizur, left arm over to Jason Roy. Length ball just drops it into the offside and there'll be no run.
Mel Arthur's got some ideas. 40-minute ambient, boring middle overs, and then maybe a free Jazz second power play jingle.
Yeah, I'm definitely more about the ambient than the Jazz. England 89 for no wicket in the 14th over.
Unless it's a Dick Weller style Jazz hands appeal.
Ron Burgundy's jazz flute is the best kind of jazz. Jason Roy has no time for such frivolity. Short ball punched into the offside and good piece of fielding at backward point, and again there's no run. Little bit of calm spell for Bangladesh. They've got in 8 or 9 cheap deliveries.
Guy Jennings says, thoroughly enjoying the chat and commentary without the stress of worrying about our South Africa team. Hopefully I'll be too busy to listen to you all on Monday. Thanks, guys.
Should we talk about South Africa for a while?
At length.
They're in trouble, aren't they?
Yeah, they are struggling, yeah.
I'm sure our friends from Guerrilla South Africa will have plenty to say about it throughout the tournament. But yes, I mean, we touched on Mustafa Zor comes in again. That's very full and it's guided. Oh, he didn't really get hold of that one either, Jason Roy. He's looking for third man. He only managed backward point. And again, there's no run. But yes, we did touch on the fact that they had to play England and India in 2 of their first 3 games. But I think they would have been fine with that if they'd beaten Bangladesh.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, it is a tough start. I mean, I personally don't agree how India got so long off.
That is outrageous.
That is ridiculous. And you could tell straight away, because even though South Africa won the toss and chose to bat, India were just the sharper team. I mean, I don't know.
Well, that might catch up with India later.
It might catch up with them, yeah.
Yeah, if there's any justice. Mustafa Zor pulls out of his run-up. And he's going to start again.
Unfortunately, it all looked very ominous when I was watching India. I don't know, the sort of...
Bumrah bowled very well.
He did.
Sharma...
Chahal, 4 wickets.
Yep.
Have a dead ball jingle, don't we? Yeah. That's what our ambient jingle... Ambient dead ball.
There must be a million thrash metal jingles with dead in them. Wake up dead.
Death metal ball.
Yeah, wake up dead, that's a good one. Mustafa Zor comes in again, full ball. That's he really missed out there, Jason Roy, because that was a half volley outside off stump. He's put it straight to extra cover, and there's no run again.
Metre of the way.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, literally.
But that's I think that's about 10 balls for 2 runs. Just a little
4 dots.
Momentary calm in the innings.
Yeah.
England rather stuck on 89.
What were England on after 5 overs? Because it was pretty slow.
Not many. I think it was in the 5th they just started to get going.
Yeah.
I think we only had 10 off about 4. See what they can do about this. Mustafa Zor steps across a little bit. Roy flashes at that one.
Shot.
Yeah, you could tell something was going to give, but it flashed past extra cover before he can move, and that's 4.
And if you kids can't listen, then you bound to see the way you get shot for crossing a boundary.
And England on to 93. No, actually, to be fair, that's well clear of extra cover. He's not in the game there.
Kunal Talani says, hello. Roger Melly, if you're a keeper and you concede 50 runs, do you raise your gloves to the crowd or something?
I've seen it.
I would give you gloves to the crowd, so long as there's no logos on them that might incriminate you.
No, yeah, I probably should have done, but I didn't.
ZZ Top in the crowd here by the looks of it as well.
Good to see them. Here comes Mustafa Zor. And punched away by Roy, and he's beaten point that time. There'll be at least 1, might get 2. Yes, they'll get a comfortable 2.
Or as we call them in this country, ZZ Top.
ZZ Top, yeah, exactly. How weird that they had a 30-year career of, cranking out blues metal, and then they were just famous for about literally a year and a half when they did that more poppy album. Those famous videos with the car, do you remember them? I'm going to say no, you're a bit younger than me. I'm going to say, Jack, you were about -10 at the time, I think.
No, I can't help you around, Neil. Sorry.
95 for no wicket. England.
I was trying to think of a polite answer and just...
Thank you for asking, but as it happens, no.
I am up on my musical history, and I like a lot of music from, before I was born, but I can't say I remember that much ZZ Top.
There wasn't much music from before I was born. It was just people smashing bones together. I've been handed a piece of paper. We've got a bet coming up, and it's an interesting one.
Right, yes.
But Shakib is going to continue bowl his 7th over. The bet on offer is Roy and Bairstow to both score hundreds, 3-1. Hashtag bet your way. Well, interesting. Shakib comes in, punched through cover point. Going to be an easy single. Yeah. That's a bet that you can make if you like. Betway.com/GC Radio.
I had a go at the GC Radio one at the India game because it was Kohli to get a 50.
Yep.
India to win, and then it was Rabada to get over 1.5 wickets.
And
but
which
Kohli didn't get a 50, did he?
Imagine Kohli letting you down out of those 3.
That was the only one I was like convinced. I'll get you a 50.
That was
no
a
problem.
Lock. Yeah, that was a lock.
What was our bet for this one?
For this one, Shakib is in again. It's onto the pads and it's tipped round the corner. There'll be no run. At the moment, I mean, the previous bet your ways we had were only valid before the game. So if you've got those, good luck, but you can't bet them now. But what you can bet, both these batsmen to score 100, 3-1.
I mean...
Jason Roy didn't get hold of that one, just lobbed it over the top. If there had been a short mid on the edge of the circle, it would have been the easiest catch in the world. but there wasn't, and that's a single.
Mog says it'll take him 10 seconds to come up with a dead ball jingle.
I
so-
know, exactly.
Yeah, so-
In fact, the only problem is being so spoilt for choice. Pushed forward back to the bowler by Bairstow, and again no run.
And we
A
just
bit
gained
quicker from Shaki.
Sorry, we just gained 4 new followers as well.
Good. Hello to you all.
Welcome to everyone.
Can you give him a quick name check?
Yes, I can. Sorry, we've got Hennessy.
Sorry, ball's into the pads and tucks around the corner. That's going to beat short third man, and it's going down to the boundary for 4. Nicely played, and that'll be 100. Thanks to Nick for just mentioning the GPL. It is still there if you want to have a go, but to be fair, we've got our sponsors, and he who pays the piper calls the tune, and rightly so. We are pushing our Betway bets, but the GPL's still there for the tried and trusted people who love it. It may well have expired by now for today because we've had 15 overs, and England have reached their century. But we're very happy about, after not really getting an opening partnership in the previous 2 games, they're 101 for naught.
It looks gloriously sunny. There we go. Plush tiger.
This is a tiger, yep.
Sunning himself.
You think you could hide a small child in there and get it in for free?
You'd definitely be using the seat then.
I'm a bit jealous because my Sunday team is the Winchmore Hill Tigers, previously the Judd Street Tigers. And we really need one of those.
The franchise was rebranded, was it?
The franchise was rebranded on a merger. We're the Milton Keynes Dons of cricket.
We'll say that carefully round end day.
I know, yeah,
I forgot about that. Actually.
Get bad.
No, we're the Royal Pune Supergiants of cricket, even though they played cricket as well.
That's not. Is that the cricket ground they're showing, or is that the?
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I mean, the Millennium Stadium's just across, isn't it?
I've been to the Millennium Stadium before, but never Sophia Gardens, which I'm glad they've gone back to.
Likewise, yeah. Mustafa wants a full outside off stump, and there's no run. Sorry.
Are they calling it that, or are they calling it the Cardiff ground? Because they've removed all the sponsors' names,
Changed the
haven't they?
Southampton name, isn't it? I can't remember
Yeah,
what
it's
it's
like
called.
Hampshire Bowl, I think.
Yeah, no, it's not the rules.
No, it's the Hampshire Bowl or something.
Hampshire Bowl, yeah.
They've
I
had
think that sounds awful.
especially when it had a name before.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Why were they sponsored by Rose's Chocolates before?
I mean, yeah.
Mustafa's always round the wicket, down to third man, and be a single.
I think the Hampshire flag has a rose on it, doesn't it? I mean, it's not a white rose, but nothing is.
Except a white rose. But
obviously.
So no, just to clear that up. So it wasn't a sponsorship naming rights thing. They just decided to change it.
Yeah, it's just that.
No, I think it's to do with the ICC. It being their tournament, they've removed all of the sponsorship from all of the grounds.
So it's not the Kia Oval either.
No, it's not. It's just the
Oval.
Oval.
That does make sense. I remember this for the Champions Trophy. They had to cover up all the Kia signs at the Oval.
So yes, this was the Swallow, I think, before, and it's gone back.
That makes sense.
But I think it's gone to being the Cardiff ground rather than Sophia Gardens,
Cardiff ground,
which it's always been.
They come out with some more inventive names.
They're really good.
Given this only for a month. Bairstow also gets that one down towards third man, backward point to get a hand on it. But,
I mean, Sophia Gardens is the name of the park, isn't it? That it's situated in.
I've been to the Millennium Stadium once. It was a playoff final between QPR and Cardiff, which I thought was a bit unfair. It is a very nice ground.
Very steep seating.
Yeah.
I think for the rugby more than.
Oh, for the rugby, they create a ridiculous atmosphere for the rugby. They really do. Especially when they put the roof on. Jesus.
Mustafizur, not for 17 in his third over. Full ball, and Jason Roy's not having any of that.
Yes.
Smashed it past Cover's left hand, and that's going to be 4. And Mustafizur did get up to 87 miles an hour on that ball, but really so much the better for Jason Roy. Just easier for him to smash it.
I love watching these two when they get going, but that's probably the commentator curse now. So
maybe. Honestly, it's not like you've got boring batsmen to come.
Oh no, definitely not. No, but I just think Roy and Bairstow are just absolutely destructive.
Just smashing all the records, and really, it's really a different game to what it was 10 years ago.
Before, their official rankings are something like 17th and 18th, aren't they? Which is.
Yeah, it was 18 and 19, yeah.
It's slightly odd.
Is a mockery, really, isn't it?
Yeah. Plays that one through the gap at cover, and they'll pick up an easy. Oh no, they got hurried back for 2. Ooh. That's not the best piece of fielding. I don't think there should have been 2 there. But England on to 109 for naught.
The 15th, just coming up to the 16th over.
Roy 66 off 55, and Bairstow an even 40 off 40. So,
run a ball.
yeah, happy days for England at the moment. All these batsmen in the sheds can't wait to come in, really. Although they're not like they're going, oh bloody hell, get out, I want to bat. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. Do you see the one? I think it was Afghanistan, Sri Lanka, where Matthews was just not expecting to come on at all, and then they lost like 2. Within,
I did see that little collapse.
That's 2 straight away.
Short ball shoveled away by Jason Roy down to deep square. He's going to get round. They just won that time.
Yes, I bet we've not got a time now, Jingle.
No, it doesn't happen all that often.
I can't remember it ever having happened.
Well,
in an international match.
In an infinite universe, everything happens once, so someone will be timed out in ODI cricket.
Somewhere there's a group of monkeys typing away on typewriters getting timed out.
Before the heat death of the universe, that will happen.
Dave Wood says the Millennium Stadium has been known as the Principality Stadium since 2016.
Correct.
So fair enough.
Thank you.
That's a sponsorship thing as well, isn't it?
I think I'll always just call it Millennium Stadium.
It was that for long enough that I think you got used to that. And while Wembley was being redeveloped, there were obviously a lot of high-profile football games being played there.
Not sure whether it's a touching point to mention it being the sportsdirect.com St James.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that. That was because I actually had a Newcastle shirt that had St James's Forever on the back of it.
At least it wasn't a tattoo. We've got a change of bowling.
We've got Judas Priest. Oh no, it's the Village People.
It is the Village People. Well, there was that one guy in the Village People who does look like he should be in Judas Priest.
Yeah.
And actually, to be fair, Rob Halford would have fitted quite well in the Village People. Good luck to him. Anyway, that was your cue, Nick. We do have a change of bowling. Hint, hint.
Hint, hint.
Yes. It's going to be a bit more spin. And it is going to be the off-spinner, Mehdi, over the wicket to Jason Roy. Short ball, too short. Roy punches it out to cover. A bit surprised. He didn't play that to leg.
We had 5 different Hassans in the side, but this game that we play has Mehdi in today.
Good. And it's the 17th over of the innings. England 116 for naught. Into the leg side that time from Roy. A lot more elegant. It's stuck to wide mid-on for a single.
So who do you think out of this England team plays spin the best?
Root
plays it very well. Yeah.
Because he just nudges and nurdles.
He goes back and a year ago you're going, oh, don't go back. But now you just think, yep, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, really Morgan does. As well.
He was a good player of spin. But I think Root is probably the best player of spin.
And seam and...
not perhaps as explosive as some, but anyway, that one's back to the bowler for no run. Quickish ball from Mehdi.
If you want one of them to bat for your life, you'd pick Joe, wouldn't you?
Joe, yeah.
I'd hate to be in that position. Someone batting for your life.
I'm not threatening you.
Mehdi comes in again. Big flash of the bat from Bairstow as he comes in, but he just clips it into the leg side. Might have been one there in hindsight, but they didn't take it.
So Linux Leia says it's basically like people still calling Ho Chi Minh City Saigon, but with the stadiums for Millennium
Stadium. It is a bit. I mean,
kind of.
I can't keep up. Get off my lawn. Eddie's in again, and again back goes Bairstow. That one is exactly the same as the ball before, but with the knowledge and hindsight, they did take a single.
It's tough when it happens more with football stadiums when they've been known as something for so long and then they get the sponsorship deal.
But that's the Bet365 stadium now.
Well, the Bet365 do basically own Stoke. I saw it.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to.
Well, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
What was I going to say? Yeah, don't Newcastle have £1 grillion now?
I mean, it hasn't happened yet, but.
A little bit of bat, little bit of pad on that one. Half a shout, but not really interested in the event there's no run. And that's the end of the over.
Apparently, timed out is not an option on Stats Guru, implying that it has not happened in the internationals.
I thought it had happened in 1930 or something. I'm sure someone can.
Someone have a look.
Know. Yeah. England are 1hund12 for naught. We're going to have a drinks break? I don't think so. I think it's going to be delayed.
Timed out, over. Sponsored by Rolex.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a return into the attack with a man with the dodgy knees. It's Mortaza, I'm pretty sure. Sorry.
Hey, look at that man, England struggling.
Yeah, in 6th, the table.
Oh, your knees are fucked. Mashrafe Mortaza. Oh, your knees are fucked. Fucked. Cause you fucked your knees.
I do like that.
That one's great.
Is that a Mog one?
I don't know, but...
'Cause if it is, I think we should be reporting him to Twitter for...
bullying. Bullying Mashrafe Mortaza. Clipped out to deep square, soon the other fielder, and there's 1 run.
I don't think we should anger Mog.
No, he might send his death metal legions onto us.
I'd enjoy that. I'm more worried about his collection of axes and swords and...
Yes, exactly, all of that, yeah.
And his cats.
Worst of all. Axes and swords and cats, oh my.
Yeah, we've just seen some highlights of Bangladesh's poor field, and they were excellent
They
in
haven't
South
dropped
Africa.
a catch
They haven't
or
dropped a catch or
They
anything
haven't
like that.
dropped a
It
catch
wasn't
or anything, no.
No.
A few slightly clunky misfields. Changing the field, long on is coming up, and there are going to be 2 men out in the sort of cow corner area.
I think sometimes we do get spoilt with the standard of fielding these days, and not all the sides up to the
Although
same.
the Sri Lanka against Afghanistan was absolutely hilarious. That was genius.
Both those
in
sides,
a bad way.
Both those sides
So
are a
funny.
little bit short of the standards of England, Australia, New Zealand, South Africa. Anyway, Mortaza's going to come around the wicket and hit him on the pad, but pitched 4 stumps outside leg.
Talking
so
of South
all good.
Africa, they've not actually won a match yet. They're kind of struggling, aren't they? Just before our South African friends go on air.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean...
What I didn't realise was actually A.B. de Villiers made himself available
Yeah.
the day before the squads were announced. And honestly, I don't blame them for saying no.
No, I agree. I would have
why
told
is
them
he
to.
doing that?
Yeah, to get stuffed. Into the offside, straight to extra cover, and there's no run.
And honestly, I think it's almost a bit insulting to think
Yeah.
that he
Yeah.
thinks he should just be able to
That
walk
he
back
can
in like that.
Walk in.
He's not the batsman he used to be. I mean, who is when you get past a certain age?
He's still probably getting the team, but what it would do to the morale, I mean, the player who misses out in that situation would be furious.
Yeah,
Wouldn't probably in a JP Dumley.
wouldn't be happy.
Oh, in fairness.
Driven up to long off, and that would be an easy single for Jason Roy.
Don't think many people would be that disappointed.
No,
I don't think even JP Doom would be that disappointed with that. But
getting the hook. But they're all competitive people, professional sportsmen, almost more so about their place in the team than about winning and losing.
I mean, things with South Africa as well. I mean, Steen getting injured, and also in Nagidi as well. I think struggling there. They've only got one.
I'm not sure even a
pace
fully
bowler.
fit Dale Steyn, again, also not the bowler he used to be.
Yeah, fair enough.
Mortaza's got away with 2 runs so far, but that's too short. It's pulled away behind backward square, and it's going to be 4 for Johnny Bairstow.
Good God, yeah.
And he's quietly on to 46 or 45.
even with that being fully fit, Steyn is still an X-factor bowler. You'd still have him in, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but he'll bowl these 2 or 3 over spells sort of every 3 games where he looks back to his best. But it's not enough, it's not T20, you have to bowl 10 overs.
Yeah, I don't think he's got long left in his international career, to be honest, with the injuries, and they're getting more and more frequent, aren't they? And
I again, don't blame South Africa for leaving out Steyn, and Steyn's in the squad, is he?
I think
he's in the squad, boy.
Yeah.
Went off injured. He's gone back in.
Hospitals.
Certainly don't blame them for declining de Villiers' offer there. England 118 for no wicket.
Put him a free ticket, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, England pulled Jofra Archer in, but at least he had the grace to play some warm-up games. It's outside off stump and bunted up to long off, and that would be an easy single. 120 for no wicket, or is it 119?
109.
It's 120 because there's an overthrow. A throw when both batsmen were stationary and in their crease. It's gone awry, and they picked up 2, and that's really careless.
The HP support assistant has decided to...
it has. Sorry, don't mind the jingles because Apple. And
it's not his Windows, this one.
And we're talking about sponsors, and it is the Powerade Hydration Break. As for our sponsors, put $1 in our G-string on patreon.com, patreon.com /Gorilla Cricket, GUERILLA, cricket.com. Many thanks to the people who already do that, helping us keep going. You can see the names of the £10 donors. Is it £10 or $10? The
$10.
10 units of Earth currency donors in front of us on Facebook. Thank you very much to all of them. And thank you to everybody who puts $2 or even $1 a month in to keep us going. And you can join their ranks.
We're probably getting good value out of the dollar at the moment.
Yeah, I would say so. And get us up to our next Patreon goal, which is cricket bat guitars in the studio.
Linux Layer says, stop making fun of Sri Lanka. They're on a 2-game undefeated streak. Can England boast the same? I didn't think so.
That's true.
Very true. And then Chris TB, if a Southampton batsman were to injure themselves now, would it be justifiable to bring AB in, or should someone who's been part of a recent squads like Hendricks get preference?
Hendricks.
Yeah, I would still lean towards Hendricks.
I wouldn't. If I was at their management after kind of the way he's done it, and, and kind of making himself unavailable and going all over the world, I don't blame him for making his money. But then to come back at the last minute and say,
"Yeah, you can't have it."
Yeah, I'd quite like to play in the World Cup.
Yeah, go on, I fancy it. Yeah, go on, give us a go.
I'd tell him, to do one.
Yeah, you can't have it both ways, and it's not like the tournament's over for South Africa. They've lost their 2 most difficult games, and they do have to win 5 of their last 6 games at a minimum. But it's doable. They've
got a cracking bowler up at Yorkshire at the moment, Dwayne Olivier, who's been bowling some fire for us headingly recently.
Yeah, well, and he's also available if they have an injury on the bowling front.
He's not available. He's made himself unavailable.
Ah, good. You
signed a 3-year contract with Yorkshire.
Thank you for that. It saved Knackle tweeting me that from Taunton. England are 120 for naught after 18 overs, and they've got a platform to get. How many do you think here? 360?
I'm going to go 380.
Yeah.
Depends what Joss does.
It does. It always depends what Joss does, to a large extent. He's not going to get 15 off 30. We know that.
Well, that's why even against Pakistan, we were at a point where, as long as Butler was still in, I was still confident we're going to win. And then as soon as he got out, it was a bit okay. But even with the ridiculous amount of runs needed, with Butler still in, you've got a chance. You've just got a chance.
Got Paul Nixon on our screens at the moment.
For some reason.
These classic World Cup moments to keep showing.
Was that England winning a game in 1999? They must have had to search hard for
with
that.
Paul Nixon in there. I quite like Paul Nixon.
I like Paul Nixon.
Yeah, he was a great coach as well, actually.
His book's very funny. And I wasn't there, but he spoke at a dinner some of our guys were at, and they said he was very good.
He's supposed to be a character. As all wicket-keepers are.
Well, I'm not.
Well, you'll grow into it.
Well, you mean I'll become a twat?
Well, have you broken a finger yet?
No, I just nicked one the other day. Honestly, the best wicketkeeper I've played with for a long time, possibly ever, is our over 50s first team wicketkeeper, and he is the nicest chap in the world. And it, shows to me that you don't have to be a chippy.
You don't have to sledge.
Well, Stanger.
Yeah, but I'm sure he had a word or two to say behind the stumps.
You can do it in a friendly way, though.
Yeah, and you can do it like a twat, which is what 90% of wicketkeepers do.
I don't know how I do it. I'd have to. I'm saying that probably the latter. if I don't know whether it's friendly or not.
Yeah. We had played a game the last Sunday, and the last over of the game, they needed 12 to win. And I wouldn't have done this, just strategically, but our captain put everybody on the boundary. And the batsman started playing the "come on, it's only a friendly" card.
Yeah.
Which is all very well, except he was on 130 not out at the time. We're just looking at that bizarre overthrow, which wouldn't have looked out of place in our Dads and Lads Sunday friendly.
Have you started doing the ooh every time they play and miss one?
Well, they don't play and miss it. Usually when they play and missed, I've missed it, so I'd have to take it first. That's played up to long on for a single.
Yep. Got a few tweets here. Cousin Rossiter, Agrilla Cricket lying down with evil flu of doom, trying to get some sleep. Your commentary is helping in a good way.
I hope so, because the flu's not nice.
You get the ambient back on then.
Yeah.
And then Dave Wood thinks Kelper Wessels is ahead of ABD. ABD.
Well, yeah, exactly. They say class is permanent. Wrongly. Another dot ball out to mid wicket. There's no run. If class was permanent, let's get Peter May back in the team.
Apparently Sangakkara's having a go at Sean Pollock, talking about the weight of the nation's hopes being on his shoulders.
Clipped into the leg side, and again, better running than fielding, I'm going to put it that way, and they pick up 2. They're more aggressive running than fielding, 2 fielders rather looking at each other, and then that's 50 for Johnny Bairstow under the radar.
So obviously on the
50 runs, you're 50 runs. Well done, well done, well done, well done. 50 runs, you're 50 runs. The job is only just begun.
Mehdi, and that's punched into the offside to a wide long off. They're gonna get 1, yeah. And anyone whose bets are in play bet of the day, both these batsmen to score 100, sorry, at 3-1, will indeed be saying to Johnny Bairstow the job is only halfway done.
And I think this is where
that will not be 3-1 anymore, though.
Not anymore, it won't. So if you got that, you know.
This is where England have been getting their big totals from.
Down the track, but down the track goes away, misses the ball, and it hits him on the pad, but he's on the line of leg stump. And
these two especially, and Morgan as well, their running between the wickets is incredible. Like, Johnny Bairstow must be the fastest in the world.
He must be up there. I mean, it puts so much pressure on the fielders.
And
Mehdi comes in again, back, or he should have been forward to that one. Oh, no, it's not a great piece of fielding at point. It's gone through him. Is he going to get 4? Yes, he is.
There's not one boy for me, I must have 2 or 3, I need 4.
Yep, went down like a Scottish goalkeeper there. Is that racist these days for me to say that?
Nah.
No, because they are pretty bad. So
it probably is, though. 128 for no wicket, Roy on 74, Bairstow 51. And we'll have one more over before we'll have a little change, and we'll bring in some less racist commentators than me anyway.
Thomas with that brush.
And I think
it's just your southern lot.
Yeah, that's county discrimination. That's not the same thing at all.
I'm pretty much Scottish anyway, so you know. to Muswell down here.
You are to these London lot.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. And I think England go at 8 and over from here, which doesn't seem too unreasonable. They'll get 378.
Again, it's Joss, isn't it? And he can come in and he can get a 40 ball 100, can't he?
Yeah, and that was.
I mean, he got 75 ball 1 against Pakistan.
Oh, a leading edge! It's into the offside. Has he caught that? Yes, he has.
Yeah, he's got.
Yes, he has the ball. Mortaza bowling round the wicket. It was outside leg stump, well outside leg stump. Bairstow tried to play it to leg, got a leading edge, and after all the poor fielding from Bangladesh, that was a good diving catch at short extra cover, and that is the first wicket. Can I say Johnny Bairstow played that with the full face of the leading edge? Because he really did.
Yeah. With the old style bats, that wouldn't have carried.
No, that would have just gone onto his pad. So, mixed emotions for Johnny Bairstow. 51 off 50, nothing wrong with it, but there was more there.
Sorry to our listeners who put the bet on.
I was just about to say, if you've got that bet, and just
never mind.
1 run ago, as you were convincing people that he was halfway there, he's not even living on a prayer anymore.
He's not living on a prayer anymore. He's back down the docks.
We've got a tweet here from James saying, hearing Dave Warner's accidentally hit a net ball on the head in training. Thoughts on bowler head protection?
With the ball or punched it?
Going back to Olivier at Yorkshire, he's hit batsmen on the head 10 times this season so far.
Well, bring your lid.
There was actually a tweet that Jofra Archer had put out about 5 or 6 years ago warning batsmen to buy an extra helmet as he was going to be and then
good.
Well, I mean,
which somebody retweeted after he'd sconned Amla the other day.
Yeah,
after he knocked down the Amla out the game.
Right. Well, no surprises at number 3 for England. It's going to be Route 66.
His voice is high pitched and ginger hair like a pick, but massive runs he has hit. So there's that.
Oh.
Introduce yourself.
Joe Root.
Introduce yourself.
Joe Root.
Introduce yourself.
Joe Root, actually.
Has it finished this time?
I've not heard that one.
No, I've not heard that one. No,
I don't think he's ginger though, is he?
He's a little bit. I mean, he's not Johnny Bairstow, but he's mixed race ginger.
been told to stop talking about the Scottish goalkeeper pish. You've got Joe Hart. Well, he's not in the national team anymore.
At the moment.
He's still getting the Scotland side.
He's Scotland's number one.
I mean, feel free to make fun of England's ball-playing centre-halves at the moment.
Yeah.
That one's roots straight off the mark down to long leg, pick up a single. What John Stones was doing the other day, I really don't know.
Oh, God. We just fell over.
Someone made a very funny tweet, and it was the old Harry Enfield, 1930s Arsenal against sort of modern Liverpool, and one player was doing exactly that. He was sort of shifting the ball from one foot to the other very slowly while all his teammates looked at him in a circle. It was very funny.
Yeah, it was ridiculous.
But, well, they are in the last 4 of the European Nations League.
Indeed. I mean, if we weren't in it, I wouldn't give a toss, but...
Mortaza's in again, clipped into the leg side by Roy. A wide mid-wicket dives, and they're going to pick up a single. We're going to have a change at the end of this over.
Indeed.
Not sure who's coming in. Quite a few people in the green room, but fresh faces to take you from 20 through to 30. England at the moment 130 for 1. Again, have England won this second 10 overs? Just, I think.
I mean, I'm sick of this the thing where
the phase.
The phase thing. I can't remember what game it was, but someone had won all the phases, but they lost the game. So what does it matter?
Mashrave pulls out as we just continue to discuss that. Yeah, that was maybe more even Steven, that second 10 overs with that Bairstow wicket.
Mm.
Has just pulled Bangladesh back into this game a little bit. Maybe we're not talking about 380, 400 at the moment, but you never know when Joss or even Stokes gets in.
Stokes.
Yep.
I'd love to see those two together
Stokes
teeing off.
Oh.
You don't very often. It almost seems like
Stokes has kind of calmed it recently, hasn't he?
Stokes has played some very good innings at like 80
he has, but the way he plays them is different to the way he used to play them, I think.
But I think all to the best. Mortaza going to come in finally over the wicket, full ball, and that's gone up to mid-on, and there's no run for Joe Root.
He's become a much more classical player. I think he hits a lot more along the ground. And
I've been really impressed with Ben Stokes' ODI batting in the last year.
He's been very good, I think kind of what happened, and I think the way that England dealt with it was poor. And it clearly affected him, mentally. And he's definitely one of these players who kind of thrives on confidence.
Yep. Dropped down.
Rob.
We've got Rob. Have we got David? Is David? You going to
come in?
David?
We've got triple change.
Triple threat coming up.
Triple threat coming in. England are 130 for 1. There's 1 ball to go in this 20th over. Jason Roy on 75, and Joe Root just come in on 1. Any tweets to catch up before we change?
Yeah, Lennox Leah, Gorilla Cricket at this point, Bangladesh's best chance of victory is a match-losing 100 by Root.
Okay, well he clips that one to mid-wicket and there's no run.
The best
and we'll have a little change.
Are free. Just like Gorilla Commentary, we need money. That's what I want. .com/Gorilla Cricket. We need money. I don't like the BBC. I prefer Gorilla Commentary. I want money. $20 for the archive. That's what I want. Or just buy a t-shirt.
Good morning, everybody. Still morning? Just about. Rob Sutton with you for the next 10 overs, ball by ball. Al has rejoined us on the tweets.
Howdy doody.
And back from the Caribbean. Dave's back with us on the jingles.
Yeah, it's been a while.
You are resplendent. You look like you've had a good time. It's nice to have you back, and
Thanks, Rob.
it is a lovely day as well in Cardiff, although probably not as warm as the Caribbean. I wouldn't have thought. Mahady is going to continue bowling to Roy, who's on 75, and Roy has pushed this one down the ground. And they'll get a single. England, there's a misfield, but they're not going to take on the arm this time. It's been pretty sloppy from Bangladesh in the field. It was a smart catch from Mahady in the previous over, but other than that, their ground fielding has been pretty shoddy so far today.
Yeah, it just seems so out of context with the first 18 overs. It was an absolute worldie of a catch.
It was a very good catch. Yeah, Bangladesh fielded, I thought, pretty well against South Africa and against New Zealand, but they did miss a chance to get Williamson out. Root on strike to Mahady. He's worked him down the ground to the same fielder, who is Tamim. get a single.
David Mogg says hello. Hello, Mr. Brook.
Hello, Mogg.
Here.
Yes. Hello indeed.
So the score predictor is at 354, and I think that is probably where England will be setting their sights, and that's a big score for this ground, 350.
That would be some target.
Well, Bangladesh are going to need Tammy Iqbal to go ballistic if they're going to get that target, I think. Mahady bowls, and Roy has just pushed forward to that one, and there's no run. But obviously the two games previously at this ground have been dominated by the bowlers. Obviously Sri Lanka got shot out by New Zealand. That game was over in a flash, and then we had a rain-affected game in the week. They're going for a quick single here from Roy, but Suyama doesn't throw the ball at the stumps, so they've got a single. Roy is 77.
I think that those previous two games, I think that was the biggest effect on England's team selection, with dropping Moeen Ali and inserting Plunkett into the team.
Yeah, I think the short straight boundaries are a big factor in only playing one spinner today. Root's going to get another single into the leg side.
Moeen's not been in any sort of form, has he really?
He hasn't known. His wife's expecting as well in the next few days.
Yeah.
So I think it's all worked out quite nicely. England don't play again until Friday, so they've got a bit of a break after this game. They've got nearly a week until they play again. So
yeah, it seems like the structures that every team will get an extended break at some point.
Yeah, India have already had theirs. Mahady bowls. Roy has gone back to that one, but there's a fielder in front of the pavilion. So 5 singles come from that over, and that's the end of the 21st, and England are 135 for 1. Tweets?
Just a tweet from Knackle. I'm not really sure about the context of this. Just says, yeah, one of them's been a listener since the Sri Lanka series, so I think that might be about one of our newer listeners. Any comment, anything about any aspect of the game at all, just tweet to us at Guerrilla Cricket. You are just as much a part of this as we are. After all, I think most of us started by tweeting in and have ended up here.
Absolutely. And be great to hear from everybody on this Saturday, second Saturday of the World Cup. Obviously we had the disappointment with losing the game yesterday, but we're going to get 2 games today. Of course, our friends at Guerrilla Cricket South Africa will be starting at 1:30 UK time, if you'd like to listen to Afghanistan against New Zealand, which is being played at Taunton, and tremendous to see Taunton get games for this World Cup. It's a lovely place to watch cricket.
Yeah, some of the Guerrillas are on their way there right now.
Good. Mortaza's going to continue from the river end, and Roy has just played this back down the ground, and it's a sprawling effort from the Bangladesh captain, who is jogging back to his mark. They've got no worries with the over rate. 12 o'clock, we've already had 21 overs.
Yeah, it does help with having the spinners in the first.
It does. I was going to bring that up because Shakib's now bowled, I think, 7 overs. He's only got 3 left. It seems like they might have just overused him a tad at the top. Mortaza bowls short. Roy doesn't get all of that. They're going to go for a single. It's going to go out to the edge of the circle, and they get through for that single. 136 for 1.
A mistimed strapple.
It was. Yeah, it was a trademark Jason Roy shot if he got all of it, but it came right off the bottom of the bat.
Yeah, the backlift was more impressive than the shot there.
That often can be the case with Roy. Yes. If he doesn't time one.
The shot he practices after the shot is truly impeccable.
Yes. I think that goes the same for my batting as well. Mortaza's come back over the wicket to Root, who's played him down the ground. It's going to be fielded, and there is no run. It's Shakib who's come in from the boundary for the newer batsman Root.
Mortaza seemed to get a little bit of early swing in his first couple of overs, but that seems to have completely gone by the wayside.
Yeah.
It is.
There was some talk that Bangladesh were going to bring in Rubal Hussain for this match, but they've decided to stick with the team that played New Zealand the other day. Mortaza bowls on Root's pads, and that's down to fine leg for a single. Root moves to 4.
Nestle Boy would like to let you know in other sports news, TM is 2-1 up on Novak Djokovic. So that was a game that could have finished yesterday, unlike the game yesterday in Britain.
Is that the French? That's the French semi-final, yeah.
The right to lose to Rafael Nadal in the final.
Yeah.
I haven't seen much of the tennis, I must admit, this year. I saw a couple of Joe Conta's games.
She was really unlucky in this.
Yeah, she was, yeah.
Just came down to a couple of big points.
And a bit like the Cricket World Cup, they've had problems with the weather, haven't they, over there in Paris?
They certainly have.
Can't trust that weather in France. Mortaza around the wicket to Roy, trying to cramp him for room, and He succeeds there. It's just dabbed away into the offside, and there's no run. Mortaza into his 6th over, figures of 1 for 30.
They seem to be anticipating that guided deflection by Roy. There's 2 fielders there.
Yeah, they've got the third man is up inside the circle, and then they've got sort of a wider backward point. It's an interesting field. Mortaza bowls, and again, Roy just punching down the ground. That will take him to 80. And that was a good over from Mortaza. 3 from it, 138 for 1 from 22 England.
Yep, Jason Roy seems to be making smooth progress towards the 3 figures. He's not looking in too much trouble.
No, he's batted well. It was he had some freebies early on, and sometimes that's what you need as a batsman to get you going.
Dave Emery's on Twitter. This is the 3rd World Cup I've spent with you and your predecessors. I assume my invitation to commentators lost in the post. Oh well, if I'm sure that we could. I think that there's an experience that I think that Guerrilla Cricket are offering.
We do have an experience. Yeah, go to the website for full details on that. Would be great to.
Yes, you'll be wined and dined and treated like royalty. Get to do some commentary. I think all for £200.
Yep.
Bargain at half the price.
Mahadi's continuing from the Cathedral Road end, and Roy has come down the pitch to him, and it's just away into the leg side. They'll get 1. Roy moves to 81.
It does seem now an inexorable move and a march now from Roy, as long as he stays patient. 3 figures does seem to be in his future.
Root's gone back and across to Mahadi's next delivery, and again it's fielded by the man who's just outside the circle at square leg. Another single. It's not a rebuilding process for England. It's just a quiet spell.
Yeah,
with the loss of Bairstow.
Yeah, long time since the boundary.
But I think this patience, 23rd over.
Roy thinks about going for a quick single there. He just dropped one into the leg side, and the fielder was in too quickly though, and there's no run. Mahadi's getting through his overs quickly here. He's in again. Roy reverse sweeps. They've gone up for LBW. I think that pitched outside leg. Joel Wilson has said no. I don't think they'll review this. I think it pitched outside leg. Mahadi wants a word, but I don't think they're going to bother.
I love this DRS timer. I think it's fabulous.
I wonder if they have I wonder if it goes up in the ground as well. I haven't been to a game yet, so
that's something to report back.
Yeah. Be good if it did. Mahadi bowls. Roy's gone big on the leg side. It's a big boundary out there though, but it's cleared the fielder, and it's 1 bounce for 4.
1 2 ka 4 4 2 ka 1. My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
That was a comfortable 1 bounce 4, but it seemed to go over the fielder's head by about 20 metres.
It did. The fielder's quite. They are big boundary square at Cardiff. The graphics is saying it's gone for 6. It definitely bounced.
It definitely bounced.
Mahadi bowls again. Roy just punches this one down the ground, so it'll be a single to end the over, and England are 145 for 1.
It almost appears like the fielder is placed for the miscued shot, rather than to be there on the boundary for the shot that's played well.
I think so too. Yeah.
We've got a tweet from Ian Kipp. The format is actually great. We get to see the best teams play each other. I'm Kenyan, by the way, so although we miss out, you can't argue against the quality. Well, it's one of the enduring questions that we'll have all the way through the World Cup as to how best to balance the format to make sure that the associate representation is there, I guess.
Yeah, everyone at Guerrilla, I think, opines that there should be more teams in this tournament, but we'll have to wait and see.
I quite like the format, but I also like having the associates. You imagine how good it would have been to have Ireland and Scotland playing in England. Anyway, Mortaza bowls, and Roy has thumped this down the ground for a single. We've seen Bangladesh are a perfect example of a team who have slowly improved over time by having more exposure to World Cup matches. You know,
we can only go a little bit further back, and you can say exactly the same thing about Sri Lanka.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we can't even envisage them as being an associate now.
Roy playing Mortaza away onto the leg side. They'll take a sharp single to save. 146 for 1.
There have been times when they've looked a bit like an associate. Out of form.
Yeah, I mean, Bangladesh have beaten England in the last two tournaments, 2011 and obviously famously Adelaide, that knocked England out of the last tournament, and they did very well in the Champions Trophy, of course, that was over here 2 years ago, where they got to the semi-finals. So they're certainly not to be messed with. Roots played the next ball from Mortaza out into the leg side for a single, I think. Yeah, just got the one there. 147 for one.
I'd like it if it was that from an associate to be able to qualify that associate qualifying tournament, so to speak. Basically, if you don't make the final four in this, then you have to play in that tournament.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout, because if to qualify, if you finish in the bottom two of your group in the Rugby World Cup, you have to qualify, and that can, if a big team has a bad tournament, they can have to qualify, and it makes it a bit exciting. Roy down the ground for a single that time off Mortaza. So we've had 3 singles and a dot off this over, which is Mortaza's 7th. The Bangladesh skipper, who is timeless, it seems. His 4th World Cup.
His 4th, but it's amazing how he keeps going.
Mortaza bowls to Root, it's wide outside the off stump. Root's cut this away, but there's a fielder on the cover boundary, and they'll take a single. Root moves to 7. I think Mortaza played in that famous game, which was actually at Cardiff when Bangladesh beat Australia in 2005, sort of in the run-up to the Ashes series. They had a tri-series.
Are you a believer in sort of good spirit going back to a place of a former victory?
Not really. Like not England. Obviously, England are going back to the Champions Trophy semi-final venue, but I mean, played in Cardiff since then. Mortaza is flicked away by Roy for a single, and that brings up England's 150 after 24 overs, 5 singles off that over. Roy has 89 and Root 7, and England are in a very strong position to post something very big here. 400 could potentially be on the cards here for England.
Yeah, we haven't had any need for the new 500 score sheets yet, and that hasn't been threatened in any way.
Well, I've actually quite enjoyed it, because we were talking about in the build-up we're going to get massive scores, but all the venues have had a bit in it for the bowlers. We haven't had too many one-sided high-scoring games. England-Pakistan even was high-scoring on Monday, but it was a very good game.
Here's a bold prediction for you. What's the highest one-day score by an English batsman? Is it
the 180? I think. And Alex Hales, I think, got it.
If someone in the green room can check with Betway, our betting sponsors, I wonder what odds I could get on Jason Roy breaking that record today. 89 runs, 83 balls, only 24 overs gone. Using the Katie Scott prediction method, we can double after the 32nd over. All's in play. All he needs to do is hang around. He doesn't have to necessarily accelerate. Everything's in play. Enfo, the friendly sports guy, responding to a tweet about AB de Villiers coming into the South African team, saying, "Hell no, that entitled man must sit. Bring on Reza and look to the future." The Ed Benson is in Luxembourg, spreading the gospel of cricket.
Good work.
Yes, hello to Ed.
Oh, and sorry, Diana, if it is that my mic technique is slipping. Sorry about that. I will take greater care.
The Fizz is back, replacing Mahady, and Roy will move into the 90s with a single down to 3rd man. It just beat the despairing wicketkeeper Mushfiqur Rahim.
Let's have a quick Google.
I like Mr. Fizz as a cricketer. I think he's a really, really smart bowler on his day.
I think we all need a bit of fizz.
We all need a bit of fizz, yeah. I remember the first time I saw him live. It's just the Bangladeshi fans, who are brilliant anyway, they love him. They absolutely love him. He's bowling here to Joe Root, who has played this one down to 3rd man for a single. Root moves to 8.
There was a lot of excitement down in Sussex when they signed him for the T20 Blast, but then injuries and various other things meant that he only appeared. I think he appeared a couple of times.
That can often be the problem. You get these big overseas players, but and then they get injured, and they're only here for a certain amount of time. But no, obviously Sussex have had Rashid Khan, and had a lot of people come down to Hove to watch him play last season. Mustafiza bowls to Roy. It was on his pads. Roy's tucked this away into the leg side. They've run the first one hard. They might try for 2 here, but the fielder came in off the boundary quickly to stop the second run. Roy moves to 91.
Alex Carey, of course, for this year.
They signed. Oh, that's a good signing. That's a good signing.
The Bangladeshi fans always kind of remind me of the Kenyan fans at the Rugby 7 tournament.
Yeah.
They are an experience. They really are.
Yeah. Yeah, I went to the Champions Trophy game between these 2 years ago at the Oval, which was the opening game of the tournament. It was 28 degrees. It was a marvellous day, and the Bangladesh fans got on brilliantly with the England fans. It was a good game, good day. It really was excellent. That ball from Mustafiza is defended by Root back down the ground, and there's no run.
Yeah, the Bangladesh fans bring special atmosphere, don't they?
They do, and it's slightly different to the into sort of India and Pakistan atmospheres, which are great as well. But the Bangladesh ones, I think, I don't want to sound too cheesy about it, but I think they are genuinely just pleased to be there. Pleased to see their team play, because obviously they don't come as regularly to play Test matches and ODIs as the likes of India and Pakistan do over here. The Fizz bowls to Root, who goes for a big drive. He doesn't get all of it, played it into the ground, and it's fielded on one of the practice wickets, and there's no run.
It does make you think, though, that they can fill any ground.
Yeah, they can.
So,
but I would imagine on the back of this World Cup, the ECB are going to think, right, well, we can now sell out venues, because 5 or 6 years ago you probably couldn't.
Yeah, absolutely. It'd bring them around more often.
Yeah, it'd be good. Because you want to see all the nations playing England over here. As the Fizz bowls, was on leg stump. Root has tucked this away off his legs. It was just wide of the fielder who was on the square leg boundary. But they've only taken 1. 4 off the over, all in singles at the moment. And that's the halfway stage of the England innings, and it's 154 for 1.
A tweet from Chris Smith, who I know is listening to us all the way over in Brisbane. Hiya, Chris. Telling us great job as always. Thank you very much for the positive comments. England just seem to have slowed down just a little bit. Whether that's the loss of the wicket,
I think it's just a sort of a consolidation period.
Of consolidation.
It's not. I was going to say recovery, but it's not really recovery from losing Bairstow. It's consolidation, and they can afford to. They're still going at 6-0.
That is true. Roy, 91 not out, 85 balls. Seems to be a very quiet 91, if you can have a quiet 91.
For Jason Roy's standards, I see what you mean. It's not been all big hits. I think he's only hit the 1-6, which was the one that was dropped by the groundsman. Mortaza is going to continue, and Root has turned him into the leg side for a single. Root often does this, starts slowly and he'll catch up later in his innings. Did that on Monday against Pakistan.
Oh, God bless Johnny Bairstow. He still has that look of like, I've just missed out ever so slightly. But I think
probably did, but the advantage of this England team is someone will always get your runs. That seems to be the way they have operated over the last few years.
I did think that it was going to be more than enough with regards to 2 Centurions fall short of 350 against Pakistan.
Mortaza bowls to Roy, who has not timed this one on the leg side. It's flipped away, and could have some buzzers there. Mushfiqur decided he was going to throw the stumps down at the bowler's end. Missed. Luckily there was some backing up there, but again just a bit ragged from Bangladesh in the field.
You could tell that there was the way that the wicketkeeper threw down the stumps and then immediately complained to the person who threw it in from the square leg boundary.
There was never a chance of a run out there. Mortaza bowls to Root, who's down the pitch, and they'll get 1. I mean, Root was halfway down the pitch by the time he set off for that single, so it wasn't really a sharp single. So this England doing it in singles at the moment.
Nice footwork from Joe Root. Got down there very quickly.
He did. I think he might have been thinking about lofting him over the fielder, but it was just held back a little bit from Mortaza, who is bowling well. The 1 for 39 his figures. Roy on strike. That one was pushed back down the ground, and again they'll jog through for a single.
It seems to be more containing rather than troubling.
Oh, we've got more buzzers. Oh, there's more buzzers.
That was careless, wasn't it?
That was poor fielding from Bangladesh again.
So
they got 2 there, so Roy's gone a 94, and they're bickering with each other in the field. I think we saw a little bit of this from England, didn't we, on Monday? Sort of they arguing amongst themselves when it started going wrong. I mean, it seems fair enough to throw it in, and the wicketkeeper wasn't standing at the stumps. I mean, what's the wicketkeeper doing? Dear, oh dear. It was nearly more buzzers the other way.
To be honest,
3 people missed that.
That's terrible.
It's one stop short of a clown car. That
it is. It is. I was going to say, all they need to do now is drop a catch, and we really would have the set from Bangladesh today. Round the wicket, Mortaza bowls to Roy, punched down the ground again. It's the same fielder who threw in last time, Sabir, who is a sub, so he must be on for somebody. I'm not sure who's gone off. So it's 160 for 1 the score after. We've got 1 left to the 26th over. Roy 95. The ground has filled up, which is good to see.
Yeah.
At Sapphire Gardens, sell out today. It wasn't full. These 10:30 starts are not ideal for people trying to get into the ground, and there's a lot of security people have got to clear.
No, that did seem to be a problem at the
Hampshire Bowl, wasn't it, in particular?
Yeah.
I mean, that seems to be a nightmare. Root struck on the pad from Mortaza, but it was definitely going down the leg side. Umpire Dharmasena says no, they're not going to review it, and that's the end of the over. It's another quiet one. We've had 26 of this match, and England are 160 for 1.
John Perry has a question for you.
Hello, John.
Lots of talk about a possible 500 score, but what possible individual landmark do you think might be reached within the next few years? Do you think it's possible for someone, say, to get an ODI triple century? And if so, who do you think will get it? So 264 is the highest at the moment?
264 is the highest, Rohit Sharma. He would be one I would throw in there as a potential. For someone to get 300, you're going to need the bowlers to have an off day and to be playing at a very small ground. I don't want to completely rule it out, but you're going to need an awful lot to go right for you. And you'd probably have to bat the whole innings as well.
Yeah, which reduces the number of candidates, doesn't it, considerably?
Yeah, Butler would have to open
Yeah.
for him to be considered as a triple centurion.
And who would it most likely be against, do you think?
You'd have to be. I don't know, to be honest.
Who's most likely to concede it?
I mean, if the wheels came off, Pakistan have gone for some massive totals down the years. Obviously, they got hit for the first England world record, didn't they, at Trent Bridge? Australia, the second one.
I'm struggling to think of a landmark that's still available from a bowling point of view. Maybe 5 in 5.
5 in 5. All 10 in an ODI. If we had all 10 in an ODI,
I think we've had all 10.
That could be one. The fizz is going to continue from the Cathedral Road end. Roy drives down the ground. It'll just be no, it won't be a single. It's decent fielding there that time, and there is no run.
So that score predictor is still at 353, but 8 and over from here. But the launch pad is there.
The launch pad is there for England to go beyond 400 here.
Right.
And also Bangladesh have used up quite a lot. Shakib, as I said, has only got 3 overs left.
Have they got a 6th, 7th bowling option? Is it just mainly the 5 bowlers that have already been used?
They're mainly a 5 bowler attack, or have been in their 2 previous games. It was a dot ball from Roy, latest delivery off Mustafiza.
Yeah, they've only used the 5 bowlers in the tournament so far.
How do you feel? So, is it? How do you feel about subscribing to this idea of keep wickets in hand? Wickets are there to be sacrificed as we go on later on through the innings. But does there come a point where you become too cautious to keep the wickets and somehow you lose out?
Possibly. I think that's could be a wide from Mustafiza. Roy missed out there. It was a leg stump half volley. And yes, umpire Wilson has signalled a wide, and he's managed to drop the jumper of the Bangladesh bowler. Fourth extra of the innings. One thing I know, when Bangladesh beat South Africa, they really did bowl tight. There were very few wides in that game, and they were very impressive and thoroughly deserved the victory. Of course, South Africa are 3/4 of the way to the airport, I think, after a disastrous opening week. Roy drives from Mustafiza through the offside. It'll just be a single to the man on the boundary. Roy is going through the 90s in singles here. He's up to 96.
I always worry because it's almost like playing a golf tournament with no cut.
Yeah.
So at some point, you know the tournament's over. So your role either becomes the idea it's professionalism, it's the role of spoiler, but you can almost see the enthusiasm and potentially the professionalism of the
Well,
team.
that is the one big
Start to ebb.
negative with the 10-team format. Nice shot from Root. That's away into the offside. It won't go to the boundary. There's a fielder out there, but he had to run to get it. And they've decided against taking the second run. I thought they might have a go there, but maybe not. Maybe not.
I think he's hit that too well for two.
I think he has hit that too well. Yeah. I mean, as I said, there are some longer boundaries here at Cardiff today. So Jason Roy taking strike on 96. He's doing a bit of gardening at the moment.
I always wonder about ego at this point in the time, because at this point you must have gone, oh mate, just one more hit, just one good one, and then we'll.
Peterson got out in a test match going to bring up his 100 with a 6, I remember. Mr. Fizzer bowls to Roy. That's short. Roy's pulled this, but a misfield. Bass's 100. Rather fitting with the Bangladesh performance so far that a misfield has taken. There's been an incident as well. I think Roy has run into Joel Wilson as well.
Yes, Joel Wilson's down on the
Joel
ground.
Wilson's down on the ground. The ball's gone to the boundary. Roy's got 100. It's all happening.
10, 20, 30, 40, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100.
Congratulations, sir. You are a centurion.
The applause ringing round Sapphire Gardens. Jason Roy removed his helmet. Joel Wilson is okay now. I'd quite like to see what happened there again. I presume he's just run into each other.
I think he wants to get the name of the truck that ran through him. But I think, as you alluded to, it is befitting of the Bangladeshi fielding that it's gone literally straight through his legs.
Yeah, nutmeg there. It was there was plenty of time for to stop that one.
Very poor, wasn't it?
Comedy capers.
See, so Roy was actually watching the ball and he's run straight into Joel Wilson and he's flattened him.
Absolutely
he's flattened him.
Yeah. And just to get the point across, he's gone in bat first on him.
He has gone in bat first. Joel Wilson can see the funny side, which is a good thing.
Yeah,
the
Roy on his feet.
The Roy century, by the way, has come from 92 balls.
I hope there's no, iffy umpire's call LBW decision that's coming Roy's way in the next couple of overs.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was a spectacular collision.
And an excellent fall. And the England players have loved it on the balcony.
Ben Stokes with his hands on his head.
Ben Stokes is pleased it's not him. Ben Stokes will be up before the magistrates if that had been him.
Yeah, repeat offender, mate. Repeat offender.
Yeah. So after all that, we've still got one ball left of the over, and Roy has just played it away into the leg side for a single. So that's the end of the over. Roy 100, Root 12, 167 for 1, and we've had 27.
Dave Emery, Guerrilla Cricket, talking up 400 means an inevitable collapse to 278 all out. That is
very true.
That is true. Ed Benson says he's listening in, but the soundtrack to the bar is sadly Ed Sheeran. Maybe we can crowd surf for Ed, maybe to get rid of that Ed Sheeran soundtrack. I'd love to be in charge of the disaster recovery bit for that. For just £3 a month, we can send money to Ed in order that he can have ear defenders.
Doesn't have to listen to Ed Sheeran.
Absolutely.
A reminder that you can place your bets on our sponsor, betway.com/GC Radio for all the latest odds in this game. Earlier on, what was it was England to win, Shahid to get 50 and Wokes to get more than 2 wickets or more.
That was 16 to 1.
Yeah, decent.
That was 16 to 1. Yeah, very decent prices.
It is. Shafuddin is back. He's been very expensive so far today. 3 overs, no wicket for 33. And he started with a poor ball, which Root has pulled to the fine leg boundary. Well, not quite fine leg, more deep square leg boundary for 4 runs. Root moves to 16. That was a loosener, if ever I've seen one from Shafuddin.
Shafuddin seems to have the mentality of a 90-mile-an-hour bowler, but the arm of an
80-mile-an-hour. Here he really is. He's bustling in to bowl to Root. Short again, and Root's cut this one, but they do have a third man, so it'll just be a single. And wonder if this might be the over Root target to get his innings moving. Not that he's not scoring quickly, just below a runner ball at this stage.
Yeah, his progress has been steady, hasn't it? Rather than the usual start for Joe Root.
And England now have the top 2 run scorers in this World Cup. Root after his century the other day, and Roy, who obviously got 50 in the first game.
It's fascinating that Rohit Sharma is there in 4th place.
I guess he's only played one game.
He's only played one game.
Yeah, that was a very well judged century from Rohit the other day. Roy on strike, and he's bunted that one back down the ground. It looped over the bowler, and once again it's fielded by Shakib, and they take a single. Obviously, we will see Rohit Sharma tomorrow. I think it's safe to say we can call it the first real heavyweight clash of the tournament so far. India against Australia tomorrow at the Oval.
Well, the West Indies had some heavyweights in their lineup.
Yes, that's true. That is
some
very
big
true.
Units.
Two of the tournament favourites going head to head tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true.
And I'm sure you will be with us. And Root has played one down the ground off save there. I think he got a hand to it, but it's actually hit Roy, not hit the stumps. Roy could have been in a spot of bother there if that hit the stumps. It was a lovely straight drive from Roy. Yes, it's come off. It's come off Roy's boot and then just rolled past the stumps.
Almost ran himself out.
He might have got back there. To be honest, he wasn't backing up miles, Roy there.
Yeah, almost off his own foot.
It would have been, if he'd gone there, there'd been another England batsman to get to 100 and get out almost immediately. Shayef bowls. Root late cuts that one down to 3rd man. They'll get 1. Root moves to 18 from 23 balls, and we've got 1 ball left of the 28th over.
It is all hustle and bustle, but
there's a lot of movement for not a lot of action.
Yeah,
that's how I would describe it.
That sounds like me moving anywhere, to be perfectly honest. But
I just wonder, Bangladesh don't really have that 90-mile-an-hour bowler, do they?
That's what they need, isn't it?
That's the missing link of this team, I think. You'd think England would be putting on Liam Plunkett at this stage of the innings. Shave bowls, and Roy thought about a big shot there, but he wisely pulled out of that, and he ended up playing it into his pads for no run. 7 off the over, it's 174 for 1, and we've got 22 overs left in this England innings.
Ed Benson echoes what other people have said previously. What a delight to hear David back on these shores and back on these airwaves. And we've got a tweet from the Beijing Ducks Cricket Club.
Hello to Beijing Ducks.
Yes,
Hello, Beijing Ducks.
Finally, we are back to listening to you lovely gorillas. Big shout out to all the Ducks flying into the UK for our 2-week tour starting in July. Let us know about where and when you're playing.
Very much so.
Absolutely.
Good luck with that. If you're here for the World Cup, very much enjoy that as well. The projected scores have come down ever so slightly, but 10 and over from here gets England to 394. They'll definitely be looking at 350 minimum. I wonder if England lose another wicket, Butler might well get shunted up the order today.
Yeah, I think that's very likely that Joss Butler coming in next. If
also, when they cut to the balcony when Roy got his century, Morgan did not have his kit on.
Good point. Well spotted.
I didn't notice Stokes because they could put Stokes in,
indeed,
I suppose.
Yes.
So I think if England lose another wicket, then I think we'll see the universe Joss. What an innings that was the other day. Absolutely fantastic.
Are you aware of Darren Minogue?
I am aware of Dara. Good morning, sir. That is my St Mary's lecturer. What's he said? He's slagging me off.
And it says, "Where's your work?" Entertaining guerrilla cricket commentary today, featuring Rob and Jack, who must be his postgrads.
We are. Hello, Dara. Hope you're well, sir.
Good to get the sir in.
What's your postgrad in?
Sports journalism.
Right.
Yeah, sports journalism. Yeah, my work is coming. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Root on strike. Mustafiza bowls to him, and Root has played that down. It's the ground. Mushfiqur Rahim does the fielding, and there's no run. It's 174 for 1.
Woy Woy Pom says if it had been Mariah Erasmus, who Roy would have run into, it would have been Roy on his arse.
I was going to say. Yeah, I think old Murray would come off better there. He had a busy day. He was third umpire for the Australia game the other day. He was very busy. Root runs this one down to 3rd man.
He does like
gets
that
a
shot,
single. He plays it a lot. That sort of late cut down to down to third man. 1 run taken. It's 175 for 1.
Does seem like he's, safe-ish shot, even though.
Yeah. We see a lot. Rohit Sharma plays that shot quite a lot as well. He gets a lot of runs down in that third man region, and it does mean when Root's in, you really do need to have one. Obviously, we're in. Well, they call it the second phase of power play, but I'm not sure you can call a phase of 30 overs a power play, but that's what they call it anyway, where you can have 4 fielders outside the 30-yard circle. Obviously, that'll be 5 for the last 10. Roy went for a scoop there, exposed his stumps, narrowly missed the stumps, narrowly missed the edge, and he survived. Trying to use the short boundary, I think.
Yeah,
Roy.
so. Mushfiqur got interested at one point there, didn't he?
He did get interested, but I think there was daylight between the bats, and it went over the stumps. There was a very bizarre incident in the West Indies game the other day when Chris Gale was given out, but the ball had hit the stumps, not his bat. We've had a few incidences in this tournament where the bails have not come off.
Yes, the West Indies boys weren't too impressed with the umpiring in that game.
I'm not surprised.
Fingers seemed to go up all the time, didn't it? Whenever
it's a good job though. They didn't waste their review early, and they had it intact, because there were some very strange decisions in that game. Mustafiza bowls, and Roy has flicked that away to fine leg. They're going to come back for 2 this time. That's good running. And it's just a sign that England are just starting to step it up again after a quiet few overs. We saw Root hit a boundary in the previous over, and they've hustled for 2 there that takes Roy to 103.
Dr. Black 66 asks if he'd missed a joke or his umpire Paul Wilson changed his name to Joel. No, it is Joel Wilson.
It's Joel Wilson.
He's standing in his 60th ODI, and he just got flattened.
We've got Damasceno is the other umpire today. We haven't needed the third yet. I'm not sure who's third. Who's third? Do you know?
I'm not entirely sure.
Not entirely. We haven't needed to go upstairs for anything in this game yet. The Fizz over the wicket to Roy, flayed away on the offside. They could get 2 here if they really push. They're going to go for it, and they get it comfortably because there was a little fumble from the man on the boundary. So it's another 2. 179 for 1.
We got a message from Paul Williams, Willow 1895. Don't ask which rule it is. Not sure if it's not out if the ball isn't touched by the fielding side before hitting bowlers and stumps. It does need to hit a fielder, and the fielder did deflect it onto Roy. We probably didn't quite make that clear.
Yeah, it was deflected off the bowler onto Roy, onto his stumps.
Yeah.
Well, not onto the stumps, past the stumps. That's still out, isn't it? If it come off Roy onto the stumps.
Yeah, it would need to hit the fielder first.
Short from Mustafiza. Roy's played this away in the air. He's got it in the gap. It's fielded gingerly by Mithun out there, and we have 3 successive 2s to end that over. 7 from it. 181 for 1. 29 gone. We'll have another change at the end of this over. I think you're taking over ball by ball.
I think I'm doing ball by ball.
And we'll get some people in.
Dara says, don't play any Taylor Swift.
Oh, that was uncalled for.
Oh,
I like Taylor Swift.
Really?
I like Taylor Swift, yeah.
You think you know a man after 9 overs.
I went to see her last summer at Wembley. Yeah. Very good. Very good indeed. I should also point out, speaking of music taste, that Britain's finest boy band, Take That, play at the Millennium Stadium tonight, which is obviously just up the road. I saw them at Milton Keynes about 2 weeks ago.
I can go one better than that. My fiancée,
one better than Take That,
Victoria, not only saw Take That earlier on this week at Anfield.
Oh, it was Anfield, wasn't it? Yeah.
Not only did she see them.
Safe bowls to start the 30th over, root down the ground, and there's a single.
She was part of the choir.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, they did have a choir on this tour.
She sang with Take That and with Lulu.
Fantastic. But they had Jerry Marsden on doing You'll Never Walk Alone at Anfield.
Which apparently caused some people to leave.
Really?
How did she get into the choir?
She sings in a choir. The choir that she sings with is called Sense of Sound Singers. A fantastic choir who do all sorts of events. Led by the lovely Jennifer John, but there's like 30-40 members of the choir.
Chafe from the River End bowls. Roy's down the pitch. He wanted that to end up in the taff, but instead he's got a bottom edge on it, and it's just rolled out to the keeper, who rolls it back and actually hits the stumps this time. But Roy was comfortably in.
That looked a bit ugly there, didn't it? It was a bit of
a
mow.
He was going for the river there, and he got an inside edge, went through his legs, and in the end, it's no run. Yes, Take That have had a number of different choirs do a certain section of the show where they have a choir come out, and they're picking sort of local ones from the different venues. So yes, It's very good. And I'm sure everybody who's going to the Millennium Stadium tonight will. It's Principality, I should call it now. I should know that as a rugby man.
So you're very much a pop aficionado, Rob?
I wouldn't say aficionado. I just like pop music.
Yeah.
Get all sorts of stick for it, as you can hear from Twitter. Shafe bowls, and Roy played that away into the leg side. They're going to get 2 here for sure because it's gone wide of Sumasaka, and they do get 2. So Roy is dealing in doubles at the moment. He's 109, and the score is 184 for 1. So what are we thinking as a score here, chaps? So 350 or more for England?
I'm going 370.
370 for Dave. Al?
367.
367. I'm going to go for 380. I think we'll get 380.
Oh.
Shafe bowls, and Roy flicks away into the leg side, and it's fielded, and there's no run. Two to come.
I wasn't going to go full Price is Right, which is to go 1.
Yeah.
369.
Just one
I saw
below.
what you were doing there. I saw what you were doing there.
Come on down.
I saw what you were doing there.
It's not quite the showcase showdown. How about yourself then?
I'm going for 380.
380.
I'll go 380.
God,
Yeah.
you optimistic.
We're very tightly grouped, aren't we?
We are. I do think England will. I was talking up the 400. I think England might fall short, but you never know. If we get half hour of Butler, it could be. Root has played that away. That short ball out to Mamadullah on the boundary. They only took 1 that time.
So that would be 10 and over, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's quite ambitious.
It is quite ambitious, and there have been a few big overs, but England have sort of scored consistently. There was 1 over I think that went for about 15, but there's not been many overs that are big overs. You'd say there's been quite a lot of 10s, but we've not had the real. There's not been multiple boundaries very often. Safe bowls, last ball of the over. Root back down the ground. It's well stopped, half stopped by Safe, who does the fielding. That's the end of the 30th over. England are 185 for 1. Roy 110. Root 20. Al's going to take over from me. We've got Jack and who? Tony's coming in as well. Okay, I'll be back later on.
Hello everyone, how's everyone doing? Right. Well, I mean, very well set, aren't we? 185 for 1.
Well, like we said, the launch pad is there.
It really is there, isn't it?
I've got a feeling with the way that the innings has been constructed with lots of 1s, lots of 2s, I get the feeling this might not be the ground for a full Joss Butler innings,
Yeah.
I mean, just strikes me that the way that we're going about it strikes me it's a classic sort of Michael Bevan type innings of like you want dashing 1s and 2s and stretch the field around and things like that.
That is the thing with this England team, they turn 1s into 2s so well. I mean, that all run 4 from earlier on is pretty impressive. You don't really see that very often.
Absolutely. Well, we're 30 overs in. England have got 185 for 1. Welcome back, Tony. How are you doing?
I'm doing extremely well, thank you very much.
Fantastic stuff. We've got Shakib, who's going to come back in and bowl his 8th over of the innings. First ball in, full ball on off stump, and Roy has carved that away for 4 runs, completely destroying the myth that I just created.
4. Good God, yeah.
Seems strange, though, that Shakib's coming in to bowl that 8th over of his allotted 10 quite so early in the innings. Hints of desperation, do we think, by the captain? Second ball looped wide outside off stump. Same again, more of the same from Roy. Obviously, the early respect for Shakib's overs has been completely destroyed through extra cover. 4 more runs.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Shakib is he's one of the ones who can take wickets, I suppose.
And Roy is down the track for the 3rd ball of the over. It's high and it's hard and it's handsome. It's been dropped in the crowd, but that is Jason Roy's 2nd 6 of the innings. Just a note to the green room. I've been doing this for 3 balls, 4, 4, 6. If you'd had me on from the start, we'd be at 400 by now.
Didn't you start this session by going it's not a ground for hitting for boundaries. It's more for nurdling the ones and twos.
I
did say that about 3 balls ago, yeah.
And I stand.
So how are you feeling about that after 4-4-6 and a single?
And I stand by that. You see, this is the commentator's curse in reverse.
The reverse curse.
See,
the reverse curse.
I've anticipated your every move.
But now you've cursed it again, probably. So we'll see. We will see.
Roy did play that 4th ball of the over back down to long off for a single. Root much more respectful and watchful, and a calm, composed single played down to mid off there. Yeah, so England have reached their 201 for 1 in the 31st over. Just 1 ball left in the 31st over. Shakib's figures now 0 for 50. A wide ball looped up just way outside off stump. Too wide even for Roy, who tries to slog it back to the leg side, but they are able to take a single. End of the 31st over. 17 from that. 202 for 1.
That could be Shakib getting taken out of the attack.
Yeah. So much for trying to bring control by bringing Shakib back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Where did we get to on tweets?
On the armchair podcast tweet.
Had we read that?
We hadn't read that.
Hang on a minute, they said. How did I miss this? No Moeen in the England 11. Is he rested? As George Dobell had opined. This does change the bowling balance of England, and Bangladesh would be happier seeing no offie with all their lefties. Yes, they have Armchair Cricket Podcast. The one change today was Moeen is rested, and Liam Plunkett is in. So England going more with pace than spin.
Plunkett is excellent at taking wickets in those middle overs.
Pudsey, as I think they call him. Pudsey. Absolutely. Jane with a Y says, listening and sewing a patch onto my son's taekwondo uniform. We'll be off to class with him, as I'm taking the class as well in a couple of hours.
Shiford in for the first ball of his 6th over. Full toss, which was able to be worked away onto the leg side by Root, probably kicking himself for the fact that he missed out there on a bigger return, but I think able to come back down for 2. Looking at
another drop in the crowd.
He's hit it in the wrists.
So he's turned around.
His crowd are disgusted with him. His child is disgusted with him. Shiford in, 2nd ball of the over. More on leg stump. Roy now willing to turn that onto the leg side. Goes to long leg. Everybody just ambles through to the single like it's a preordained, agreed thing. And we're starting to see some highlights now of Roy, who was really hit the accelerator now into the 120s. It's been a very grown-up, mature innings as he takes this 3rd ball of the over from outside off stump, and Root is played that on. Oh my God, Root is gone.
It was out. Jesus.
It looked to all worlds like he just played that into the leg side, but it's inside edge and onto the stumps. Root goes 21 off 29 balls, not really able to turn around and turn the slow start into a bigger score. England 205 for 2.
On your right, mate.
It's a giant inside edge onto the stump. A slower ball from Shiford ran his fingers right across the ball, and Root seems utterly bemused about the fact that that's happened to him.
Yeah. Can't believe it. I mean,
well, in the meantime, are we going to do a wicket jingle?
Yeah, I've done one.
Oh, you did? I missed that. Oh, batter out. I was miles away. Yes, where was I? As Jane with a Y was talking about her taekwondo class. Chris TB says England have scored more ODI centuries since the beginning of 2017 than they did in their first 20 years of ODIs combined. Yes, I'm not surprised.
No, I mean, that's just the sign of this new cricket we've created, isn't it? ODI.
Durban Oak, YY Pom Pom, wants to know how grown men can have the musical taste of a 12-year-old girl, which I think is something that Rob was talking about.
Rob's obsession with Taylor Swift, yeah. That's what
was it Taylor Smith? I heard something about, was it not Boyzone?
Take that.
Take that.
Okay.
Was it both?
The Ghost of Zoob. The Ghost of Zoob says, I once saw Amen Corner at the Roundhouse. Far too noisy for my liking. Amen Corner. That was the Welsh chap. Andy Fairweatherley, wasn't it?
I think
Amen
so.
corner. I think it was.
I saw him play guitar with Eric Clapton.
The Welsh chap, Andy Fairweatherley. Wide-eyed and legless. Probably his biggest single, if you recall that.
I'd imagine so.
No messing around from England here. Butler's in.
Welcome to the Joss Butler experience, everybody.
Pryor ain't no loss, 'cause we found someone Sutler. Okay, he can't spell Joss, but he also can't spell Butler. Joss Butler.
First ball, full onto off stump. Butler moves across. Scheiferdin thinks that it's got. It's hit the pad first, and they are definitely talking a bit more agitatedly about that DRS timer. And as it ticks down to 5, 4. Oh, he's gone for the review. So let's see here. It was a full ball, seemed to be on off stump, and it was Butler, which seemed to be shuffling across.
He's not looking comfortable back there.
No, he
hasn't got that look of expression on his face that, this is just all academic.
So let us first of all look at the foot.
No ball.
And Bruce Oxenford, who's up in the stands, is happy enough that that's a legal delivery from a footwork point of view. So it's been given not out. Oh, it seems to be maybe going down leg side, but Butler has come a long way across. He's certainly not hit it. To hit him on the inside edge of of his front pad. But not out means that umpire's call belongs to Butler.
It does. So he's got reason for optimism on that basis.
So it shrinks the wicket by about 70%.
Pitching in line,
missing
leg stump.
Missing. Worth a shout though.
Worth a shout. Absolutely would have terrified the pants off Butler first ball.
I mean,
did they lose their review as well?
That's their review gone.
Yeah.
It has, but you have the impression that they realised it was Butler and thought it's got to be worth it.
Yeah.
First ball.
Yeah.
So
So indeed.
31.4 overs, 206 for 2, run rate of 6.51. No reviews left. Joss Butler in.
Roy very, very settled.
Roy very settled. And no need to do anything particularly stupid or particularly courageous at this point of the
Still,
of the inning.
what, 18
overs to go.
overs to go, I mean. Yeah.
So, the single off that last ball, the full ball, attempted Yorker, and Roy's able to play that away to long on, and they'll come through for a single. Roy up to 130 now.
So
I still think that this has all the hallmarks of a record-breaking innings.
Is it Hale's 180, isn't it?
Yep, something like that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's got plenty of time, hasn't he?
He's got all the time. He's all set. Butler chops that one behind to a not necessarily a fine leg, but a fine leg up in the circle. But it seemed to be quite uppish for a time. It seemed to play that nicely, and it seemed to be played in the air, but dropped well short. So they've scrambled through for a single. Roy was terrified for his life that he was going to get hit by the ball at the end of it. 208 for 2 at the end of the 32nd over.
Jamie the Y has picked up the musical theme. After my husband was born in Clatterbridge Hospital in 1965, the next occupant of the bed my mother-in-law was occupying, according to her, was Jerry Marsden's wife.
Oh, well.
Who was also giving birth. Jerry Marsden.
Jerry and the pacemaker.
Jerry and his pacemaker.
Yeah.
So ferry cross the Mersey.
First band ever to have their first 3 singles go to number 1. Jerry and the pacemaker.
Good grief, you've out pop-statted me on that one.
Aye.
The Beijing Ducks. Says, thanks Guerrilla Cricket. We kick off July the 1st at Durham, supporting Windies Cricket at Durham versus official Sri Lanka. Then on to Manchester.
I think
play Whaley Range CC.
Absolutely well worth going to see them, I think.
Lots of fixtures lined up until July the 14th.
Mahidi's coming in for the 5th ball. He's coming to fifth over, changing the bowl. Bowled on leg stump, and it was just able to be worked away to square leg. The leg side bowlers do seem to be way in from the boundary.
Yeah.
I'll let you.
Yeah, no problem. Here is Mahidi.
We had 5 different Hassans in the side, but this game that we play has Mahidi in today.
Mahidi in again, arcing the ball sort of in towards the leg stump, because he's bowling around the wicket to Roy. Roy's able to play that up to mid-on, and there's a single taken, and we're moving on to 210 for 2.
Chris TB says ODI centuries by England players before the year 2050. ODI centuries by England players since 2015 World Cup 51.
Mahidi bowling a full ball onto sort of middle and leg stump as far as Butler is concerned. He just gently blocks the ball out and it's fielded by the bowler, and there is no run.
51 centuries.
Yep.
Since 2015.
That's right. Top statting by Chris TB. Thanks
Absolutely.
for that, Chris.
It's nice there's someone statting in Knuckles' absence.
Yeah.
Oh, poor old Chris TB. He's just been branded the deputy Knuckle.
The deputy Knuckle. Mahidi in for the 5th ball of the over, speared in really onto Butler's legs. He was able just to work that ball away. No histrionics. Square leg. Able to turn around and field that ball. Single taken, 211 for 2. Last ball of the 33rd over. Mahidi's going to carry on bowling around the wicket. Much wider, and Roy moves over to the leg side and sort of slaps the ball towards deep extra cover and will take the single. Moves himself on to 132 off just 113 balls. 33 overs gone.
Messi Jazz, who of course is on tour and we're looking forward to seeing, says he's at Ye Old Cider Bar in Newton Abbot under instruction from Grubby78. I presume he means Grubby sent him there, suggested he went there, not that he's under some form of instruction whilst there. Acquired half a gallon of Piggy's Best or something similar. 7% alcohol to bring to Gorilla Towers if it lasts that long. We hope it does, messers. PJW, hashtag FBPE. Get your lips around that one. Says, I don't want to be the kiss of death to Jason Roy 20, but he looks like he's in for a lot of runs today.
No, I agree with you on that.
James Moosh says, I have a bit of work to do, but the cat's asleep on my lap, so I'll have to sit here, watch the cricket and listen to Gorilla Cricket.
It's difficult
Enjoy.
when you're instructed by a higher power. You're instructed by a higher power.
You are indeed.
And I, for one, welcome our cat overlords.
The cat overlords. I always picture Donald Pleasance when I think of cats, just stroking the cat.
You may be wondering why I brought you all here.
Yes.
To
Durban Oak says, of Woe Pom Pom, of course. The collapse is on, 205 for 1 to 312 all out. Well, let's wait and see.
Come on,
Kieran.
Private Godfrey, come on.
Do they come 6 times something? So if so, I'm buying. I think that's referring back maybe to Messi Jez. I think that's Nestle Boys giving us an update on the cricket. So into the 5th set, Novak versus Thiem in Paris.
Oh, that must mean Novak's taken the 4th.
So there must be 2 all, or else there'd be no 5th set.
Absolutely.
Even I can work that out.
Yep.
That's pretty much it.
Fabulous stuff.
Oh no, hang on. Cherry Hinterland is advising Messi Jez to mind the dead rat in the bottom of the jar.
Well,
there you go.
Right.
Good.
That might actually be integral to giving it its flavour, I would imagine.
I'd imagine so. And at no extra cost.
At no extra cost. Well, is it? What's the is it mescaline? What's the drink, the Mexican drink that has the cockroach or something in it?
Mexicana?
Yeah, mescaline. That's the capital of a country somewhere, isn't it?
I think so.
It's Colombia, isn't it?
You have a couple of those, and you won't really matter what it is
You don't. You won't.
are.
You'll just be arguing with anyone who wants to take issue with it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Then again, it depends what type of drunk you are. You know, if you're an if you're an arguing drunk, that's one thing.
Depends time to time, though, doesn't it? Like,
no. we are chatting away. There is drinks.
Yeah, there is
currently that.
And now we're seeing some.
Is it a hydration stroke ad break?
Yeah, absolutely.
They had one of those. They had one of those the other day. I can't remember which match it was, but it literally came on the back of a 7 or 8 minute injury break.
Yeah, it was England-Pakistan by any chance, because that
Yeah, I
game
think
went
it
about
was.
an hour and a half over how long it should have been.
Well, I hope they didn't ding anybody for slow over rates under circumstances like that.
I think Safar's got a warning, but I don't think he got anything else.
Ridiculously harsh.
Yeah.
I mean, common sense ought to prevail, and they think, let's keep the thing moving for the crowd.
Someone got something in the eye, an England player got something in the eye, I can't remember what it was,
Yeah.
and then literally what happened is they came back on and then they went straight for a drinks break. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I think I don't know whose responsibility it is the field umpires or the match referee.
It is.
But somebody has to take ownership of just keeping the game going at a certain tempo.
Well, unfortunately, this is a television product and a radio product, and so certain things are.
Oh, we're glad it's a radio product.
I'll put in, yes, and who better than us? Well, we're going to keep Shiford in the attack. 7th over of his 10-over spell. Currently with figures of 1 for 49 with that inside edge bowling that managed to remove Joe Root to bring Butler to the crease, and nearly taking Butler's wicket first ball as well. Yeah. I described him earlier on as the mentality of a 90-mile-an-hour bowler with an 80-mile-an-hour arm, and again, just to show that commentators' curses are consistent, he's then proven me wrong by being too quick for Joe Root.
Yeah.
Thanks, Joe. Kisses the ball, as seems to be his beginning of his action, in for the first ball of the over, slightly back of a length, but Roy is very easily able just to bunt the ball down the ground, and it's able to be fielded for a easy single.
81 mile an hour there.
The Beijing Ducks are suggesting that Josh Butler might be on for the big one now, 100 in less than 54 balls.
I wonder if we can have someone who can look at the Betway to see if we can get some some action about the speed or the volume of runs.
Green Room, can we have a look at Josh Butler's chance of a 50?
Shiford in for the second ball of the over, just outside off stump. Not really able to trouble Butler in terms of pace, and Butler's able to play that ball out to sort of deep cover, who's able to turn around and
11-4.
Roy or
Roy.
Roy is 11-4 to get 200. Thoughts?
I would say, what's he on? 133. 11-4.
Yeah.
Shiford in with a full ball on to onto middle stump, and Roy is able to flick that away, but only as far as the mid-wicket fielder, and there's no run.
Let's explore that one at the end of the over.
We'll explore that one at the end of the over. We'll try and put our mathematical brains.
We were having a look before, and it was England players top to top score. Joff Archer was 50-1, even though Roy was on 90.
Yeah, that was extraordinary.
a slightly over-optimistic thought process about the level of Archer's batting there, I think. Shiford in. Good ball just outside off stump, but Roy is able just to guide that towards a sort of a deep gully fielder, and unable to prevent the single. England seem to be able to take singles at whenever they feel like taking them.
Yeah,
and they do.
Just because of the fitness, isn't it?
Yeah. And to be perfectly honest, it doesn't really seem to mind whether it's to the fielder or just by the fielder.
Yeah, it really doesn't, yeah.
Score predictors at 356. It was 327 at the start of the innings. So
I think the three of us in the previous 10 overs were a bit optimistic then in that case.
Yeah.
The next ball of the over in Shiford in. Again, good full length, but Butler's able to take that ball from just outside off stump and play that to a sort of a wideish long on. Another single taken. 4 off the over so far with 1 ball left to go. Just that third ball being the dot ball. And Roy still remains now on strike, 134. But, there's the absolute need for explosiveness, isn't there, while we're taking these singles. But Roy proves me wrong again, but steps back to the leg side, thrashes the ball down. Looked for all money like it was going to be 4, but managed to pick out the fielder with unerring accuracy. Just a single taken, and we're at the end of the over.
Now, if you did want to place a little bet, that was just a suggestion, but Roy to get 200, currently 11-4. If you went to betway.com/GC Radio, that's betway.com/GC Radio, you would get enhanced odds with Guerrilla Cricket. You'd be helping the show. It's very simple. You can bet in your own currency. You need to register, deposit, go to cricket, go to the match, go to hashtag bet your way, and you'll find the top odds right there.
I believe
there's your options.
I believe they're our bets, and they're enhanced odds, aren't they, as well?
They are. The enhanced odds are always the ones we do before the game.
That's right. Mahidi in for the first ball of his 6th over, and Roy has hit that high and hard. If you're in the 20th row, you better take cover, because that's 6 runs for Jason Roy.
Having been struck by the bats, the ball pitches.
Still nudging those singles then, Alan?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's always It's a 6.
It's always good to get a single when the first bounce is 97 metres away from where you hit it. 223 for 2, second ball of the over, and Roy is off of this. Even higher than the first one. That is coming down with snow on it, but unfortunately for Bangladesh, it's coming down 15 rows deep in the crowd. Roy onto 147.
2 6 6 in a row. 2 6 6 in a row. 2 6 6 in a row.
72 in the tournament, sixes.
Mahidi looking to his captain and his wicketkeeper as if to go, any ideas about the next one?
Well, he might be buying himself a wicket, you just never know.
Yeah. Third ball, on leg stump, Roy quick to the pitch of the ball, and this is 6 again over deep square. Six,
it's a sign of the devil.
6
Let's talk about 6. Let's talk about 6. Let's talk about 6. Let's talk about 6.
Jason Roy onto 153 off 120 balls. A smile as wide as a Cheshire cat, because this one may be the most impressive of the three, I think. 90 metres the distance. But to be perfectly honest, unless it's Jack from Jack and the Beanstalk out there, I don't think you've got any chance of catching that one.
Mehdi's figures were alright before this one.
Yeah, Mahidi, who looks like he wants an out-of-body experience. Coming in for the fourth ball of the over. Down again.
He's out there.
Skewed that one away. It's not got the distance.
There he goes.
Roy out for 153, and Mahidi actually points towards the pavilion. Brilliant stuff.
Well, you had a feeling that was coming as well. Once those 3 sixes, you just had a feeling Roy had it in his mind that I'm going for this whatever
I'm going
now.
for this.
Yeah.
And they've bought a wicket. It's cost them 18.
Yeah.
Well, it's cost them 160 odd, but it's cost them 18 in the short term, but they've done it successfully.
Let's send him on his way.
Indeed.
Go OUT the window, go OUT the window, go OUT the window, 'cause OUT spells out.
I've done Mahidi a disservice. I must immediately correct myself. I thought that he was pointing to the pavilion. He was actually patting Jason Roy on the back. I do apologise to you, Mahidi. Caught Mashrafe for 153. So, do we think now that it's going to be Morgan or Stokes?
Stokes,
I think. Well, Morgan, there was some doubt about whether Morgan would actually play in this game, wasn't there? I can't remember what the reason for the doubt was. Whether he's carrying a slight knock or not, I'm not sure. I would expect to see the captain in.
Yeah,
just to keep this ticking.
Just to keep this ticking over.
I mean, there's different captains' roles that need to be played. You may be in a strong position, but you need to reinforce a strong position.
Absolutely.
He's there for a reason, and I'd be surprised if he took a step back now and said, well, okay, go on, Stokesy, go and get in there with Joss and see what you can do.
Yeah. I just get the feeling that actually, I mean, don't get me wrong, that's very exciting for 3 sixes in a row, but there was really nothing that was broken about the slow and steady accumulation of runs that's taken place.
No.
It is our captain, England's captain,
Morgan.
Captain Morgan.
Indeed.
Old O'Connor had a farm, E-I-O and Morgan.
You do get the feeling there is an opportunity missed there with Captain Morgan and Captain Morgan.
He's been in an ad for Morgan. Yeah, no, he's been in an ad for the rum.
Although with a bunch of other captains.
Yeah, him
with
and
Wes
Morgan as well.
Yeah.
The
Leicester centre half.
Leicester captain. Yeah.
What a colossus he was in that title winning season.
He was.
Fifth ball in the over. Mahidi feeling a little bit better about himself. Butler able to just play that out into the offside, and there's a single taken. Things kind of slowing down just a little bit now.
Wickets can slow run rates for a little
Wickets
while.
can slow things down.
I mean, sure, no bowler in the world wants to go for 3 consecutive sixes, but in a way, in the scheme of things, it's a slight tactical trial.
It's an important wicket.
He threw him up.
He threw
him up, and he said, "Come on, hit all of them."
Yeah.
But I bet you can't. And he was right.
Fair enough.
Morgan in for his first ball of the innings, the last ball of the over, and very watchful of a good ball, just on a good length outside off stump, blocked back to the bowler. End of the 35th over. Have we got any more tweets?
We do, yeah. Rohan said, had said, be good to see Roy get 200. He's not going to now.
No.
James Moosh had said, you keep asking if Roy will break Hales' record, but was it actually Roy who got 180 versus Australia at the MCG? He might break his own record, though. No, sadly, he won't.
Sadly, he won't.
No.
Jerry Hintland has said, be good to see YJB with JBE. I'm not entirely sure what that means. I might have to put my thinking cap on. Martin White says, odds on Roy becoming England's first ODI double centurion are now academic.
Yes.
Martin, but you didn't know that when you tweeted it.
Oh, we've got a new bowler into the attack. Mossadegh is going to be our new bowler for this next over. Frantically sending my colleague towards the jingle deck to try and find.
I've got him. I've got him.
Have you got him?
Yeah.
Well.
Mossadegh, Hussein. Mossadegh, Hussein. Mossadegh, Hussein. Mossadegh, Hussein.
Who do you reckon did that jingle?
I
Was it
don't
Mog?
like to say. I wouldn't like to say because
Wouldn't
I'll
like to
be
say.
accused of stereotyping.
So our off-spin bowler in with a wide ball outside leg stump, which is able to be flicked away to deep square leg, almost deep backward square, to for a single off the first ball of the over. England 237 for 3. Morgan on 0 and Butler now on 7.
Yeah,
Morgan
15.
surveys the ground, looking for the gaps, and he takes this ball from outside off stump and he cuts it away towards deep cover there for a single, and he gets himself off the mark. Doesn't really. It's a very, very wide-armed motion from Hussein, doesn't it? Really?
Yeah.
And this ball is short and able to be, pulled away by Butler. An indication of just how short it was. And the fielder on the square leg boundary, stumbling and tumbling, but actually doesn't manage to get the ball in only to able to restrict Butler to a single.
Sort of died on that ball, didn't it?
A little bit.
Yeah.
I don't think it. So in for the fourth ball of the over, and this is speared in towards the off stump. Morgan's only able to play that back straight, and the Mossadegh's able to field the ball, and there is no run.
Oh, tidily so far. I
He's
think.
tidily and quickly in for the fifth ball of the over. Morgan is back to that on his leg stump and able to work that away onto the leg side. The fielder runs in from the square leg boundary, and only a single is taken.
Top 5 players in the tournament. Shakib, apparently.
Yeah, I know.
For the fantasy game.
In the
For the
Cricket World
fantasy
Cup
game, yeah.
Fantasy Dream 11. Last ball of the over in, and Butler is able to work that ball away onto his leg side. Not really the most controlled of overs from Mossadegh. Lots on leg stump, no matter whether it was the left-hander or the right-hander. Maybe in a way of trying to just control it down to singles. He was able to do that. 5 off the over, 5 singles. 36 overs gone. 241 for 3. England are now with a run rate of climbing towards 6.7. A high ceiling, but a high floor for England.
Yeah,
I think
360, something like that.
Yeah, I think sort of anything below 350 is going to be seen as disappointing.
Yep. It is. Chris Paul at Save Withybush Hospital. The hospital I can never say. Chris Paul of Save Withybush Hospital says at 10:35 I was going to tweet. I had a sense of foreboding of Roy getting out early. I'm glad I didn't bother now.
Not now.
He was in the end.
Mahidi into bowl his 7th over, still bowling around the wicket. Pushed that ball wide of Butler's off stump. He went to cut the ball away, but there is a sort of a short third man able to field the ball, and there's no run. Oh, and a full ball there onto leg stump. No real footwork there to speak of from Butler. The ball squirts away onto the offside, and they're able to take a single. I think it's going to be classed as a leg by. Bangladesh, unfortunately, have used their review trying to get Butler out first ball.
They have.
So it's been given not out. I think he might have inside edged that. I think possibly, or some decent turn. Interesting to see that on the replay about whether it was hitting the stumps or not. But they scrambled through for a single. Morgan facing the third ball of the over. Looped more, but again, just on Morgan's off stump, and he's able to play that into the offside. Fielded
I
it.
had a feeling he
mid-off.
was looking to set himself for a big one there, and then checked himself.
I think he certainly out of the premeditated shot. Mahidi as wide as the crease will allow him to a slightly quicker ball, but Morgan's able to play that towards sort of deep cover and able to walk through for a single, taking him onto 3 from 6 balls. Mahidi and Hussain have managed just to slow the run rate down just a little bit, managing to a bit of watchful moment.
Obviously Roy went mad, but they've slowed it down.
Mahidi quickly in for the 5th ball of the over. Nothing Butler can really do with that good length ball on his off stump, just blocks it there for the wicket keeper to do the fielding. It's quickly back to the bowler, and we'll come in for the last ball of the 37th over. Mahidi in on leg stump, and Butler's able to drive that away square of the wicket to just to find the fielder. Single taken, Butler on to 10, and we're at the end of the 37th over.
Kiwi Cali kindly, and a number of other people actually, kindly retweeted our offer of the Gorilla Experience. Remember, if listening to us is not enough, why not come and see us and absorb the whole Gorilla Experience? Arthurshire CC is among those to take advantage, but other days are free.
I can only say from my own experience, this is a blast. If you love cricket, even if you just like cricket, but if you love cricket,
well,
come and be a part of this.
Absolutely.
I've really enjoyed it.
If you go to gorillacricket.com/world-cup-offer, that's gorillacricket.com/world-cup-offer, then you can find all about how you can come and join us for a day, and of course you'd be most welcome. Les Butterworth said, I think he's referring to something about the village cricket game, but played on Cricket AM by the late great Mr. Tony Cozier, no less.
Oh wow! Well, if you're going to have comments, if you're going to be commentated by anyone, that would have been the person to have been commentated on.
Yeah.
The score predictor is now saying 3-5-4 for England's innings. Although
There's a little drop from
drop of 2, I think. Yeah.
But I believe, as the saying goes, anything can happen in the next half hour.
Yeah.
244 for 3, and Butler comes down to track to the first ball of Hussain's second over.
Nudges another
single for 6. Butler gives himself room for the second ball, premeditated, and cuts the ball in front of square where there is no fielder, and that is fairly rocketed away. 10 runs from the first 2 balls of Hussain's second over. Not necessarily the same chanceless compared to what we thought about with Roy and his 6-6-6 at the beginning a couple of overs ago. Butler might just be releasing his own shackles just a little bit here. No.
My name is Lakhan. My name is Lakhan.
Right, no more predictions now for the next 10 balls or so that I've got before I hand over to somebody else. Full toss on leg stump, and Butler chips the ball away onto the leg side. It is able to be fielded by the boundary raider there on the deep square leg boundary. Hits the ball well enough that they're not really able to take 2 there, only the single able to be taken. 255 for 3 after 37.3 balls, and Morgan now on strike. Much more watchful. No real footwork forward or back to this ball on off stump, and he plays the ball down to long off, and there is a single taken, bringing Butler right back on strike.
Did they rest Mahidi then, or has he done his job having bowled his 3 6s?
Mahidi's bowling from the other end. So he's through 8 overs. Hussain spears that one in to Butler, trying to hurry in for pace, but Butler rocks back. There'll be none of that. Butler hits it high over the scoreboard, threatens the commentators. 6 more to Joss.
It's end up in Swansea, that.
Yeah, this dreamy-eyed assassin of late innings bowling has just absolutely terrified whoever it is that's in the commentary box, because it's gone as straight as it could possibly go. 85 metres, I think. Who's trying to catch that in the commentary box? No, not quite.
No.
Not quite. I think that they've lost the ball. They've lost the ball. I love the fact that they come out with that protective briefcase.
The case, yeah.
Yeah, it's one small step short of having it secured around the wrist of the person who's bringing it on. These valuable things for you, sir.
There you go.
Blue String Parks, have we got time? Blue String Parks had said, "Good afternoon, Gorillas. Dropping in as much as my sister's house moving will allow.
Oh,
switched on to him. Mescaline. Is that not a psychoactive drug taken by Johnny Depp in Fear and Loathing Las Vegas?"
Oh, Hunter Thompson. If it's well worthwhile finding on Google, look up Hunter Thompson's itinerary. It's like get up at like 10 o'clock in the morning and 10:15 take cocaine.
It's actually mezcal. Mezcal is the drink that I was thinking of, not mescaline.
Right, so
I'm now going to look up mescaline to find out what I was thinking of in that.
So quick calculation, 18 off the over so far, 1 ball left. Butler has changed his helmet.
The score predictors has jumped up.
The score predictor can't keep up now.
No.
It's more of a random number generator than a score predictor in this inning. 368. He just rocked back even just half a step. And again, nonchalance, not even looking, no styling, nothing like that. Just hit it and just went, yeah, it's gone. Thanks very much. Next.
Mescaline is a naturally occurring psychedelic alkaloid.
And apparently Moorish. As Hussein in for the last ball of the over, slightly flatter, slightly quicker, on Butler's leg stump, and it's able to be worked away onto the leg side boundary. But fielder there, 1 run taken, 263 for 3. 38 overs gone. I hope the green room are preparing themselves for a handover in 2 overs time. Mossadegh Hussain has got figures of 0 for 24 after 2 overs. So I know that David was saying earlier on that Bangladesh had gone down this route of 5 bowlers only. So the need to go to the 6th bowler is an indication of how the innings is going. Yeah. And patently hasn't really seemed to have.
His first one was all right, to be fair.
Well, yes,
that one's destroyed his figures.
Having one that goes for 19, Mahidi can absolutely testify. His figures slightly ruined by 18 in 3 balls.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But he's on 1 for 47 after 7 overs, and he comes trundling in for the first ball of his 8th over, the 39th of the innings, on Butler's leg stump. Butler able just to gently caress the ball down to long on, and there is a single taken. Morgan, who seems to have been a bystander for the last sort of 10 minutes or so.
I mean, he's only faced 7 balls.
7 balls.
He's letting Butler have the strike.
No real histrionics there. Just fishing for the ball ever so slightly. I don't know whether that's hints of turn that were coming from Mahidi. Pushed out towards a gully area, and there's no run. Ball quickly back in Mahidi's hands. 3rd ball of the over. Shorter, able to be cut away. Seems to have gone through the fielder, I think. Don't think it's enough to take it to the boundary. No, there's a fielder out there on the deep point boundary. And more sloppy fielding, I think. 2 able to be taken there.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just been a hallmark of the innings so far.
Yeah, it has. I mean,
it's gone.
Oh,
right through.
Come on.
The city I was trying to think of was Medellin. So I'm getting my mescaline and my Medellin all confused.
Which is why you're not
adopted. Neither of them have anything to do with the drink.
No.
the drink with a worm in, but there we go.
So
I think I called the worm a cockroach, so I've pretty much got absolutely everything wrong.
That's where Pablo Escobar's from, I believe.
Absolutely.
Medellin.
Mahidi in for the 5th ball of the over, the 4th ball being a dot ball, and that's just able to just gently blocked onto the leg side, easily fielded, and there is no run. They are talking about that Mahidi's certainly used all of the crease at his disposal on either side of the wicket today. A gentle ball just ever so slightly back of a length onto Morgan's middle and off stump, and Morgan plays the ball onto mid-off, and there's a single taken. End of the 39th over, 267 for 3. Morgan on 7, Butler on 29.
Nestle Boy sent us a very curious picture of what appears to be a lizard hanging upside down in his old pub. I literally have no idea. You're going to have to help me with that. Oh, unless it's something to do with the drink, Nestlers.
Possibly. Possibly.
Beijing Ducks, if anyone wants to come and watch us, raising money throughout the tour, we are going to retweet that. In fact, someone already has. Here we go. Jane with the Y is already one step ahead of me. She's corrected me, as she quite often does, actually, I found. Always with justification. Medellin is the city in Colombia. Bogota is the capital. Mescaline is the hallucinogen. Mezcal is the spirit made from agave.
Right. So a tiny correction, if nothing else.
And Jane with the Y says, and it's a worm, actually a moth larva in the mezcal bottle. Yes, not a cockroach. As like I said, I couldn't have got more wrong if I'd tried.
Absolutely.
Kiwi Callie in Taunton, New Zealand won the toss and will bowl first. So we'll keep you up to date on that as things transpire, and then it'll be our colleagues at Guerrilla Cricket South Africa will be covering that ball by ball by ball.
There's a change in the bowling.
Indeed, and it is this man.
Oh, your knees are fucked.
First ball of his 9th over, back of a length. Morgan not really able to do anything, just right on off stump, just blocks the ball back to the bowler, and there's no run. So Mortaza, they're not saving him for the death. They are going to turn around and insert him now for his, I'm assuming, 9th and 10th overs. It is a laboured run up that he has, and it's a full ball outside off stump. Morgan probably feels that he could have driven that maybe a little square and got more for it, but driven it to mid-off, and there's no run.
Yeah, the jingle suits his run-up, definitely.
It really is.
It looks an agony.
Yeah. His run-up looks like it's been more uphill as it's gone through his 10 overs. Absolutely. So the slower ball, I think, but Morgan has been able to absolutely pick that up, no problem at all from outside off stump. It's over deep extra cover, deep point, and it is 6 more runs. Oh, that is deep extra cover.
Did he take the catch? No, it was dropped in the crowd.
More drops in the crowd.
Poor.
Sloppy fielding.
Sloppy fielding from the crowd. I mean,
in Cardiff.
the worst one was the ICC bloke before.
But did you see the one-handed catch taken by the cameraman?
I did not. Yes.
Mortaza's 4th ball of the over, outside off stumps. Good length, but Morgan just tries to play it through the gully area, but it's fielded at gully and there is no run.
What game was that in again?
Woiwo Pom Pom has said, as I said, the collapse is on. Tongue firmly in bearded cheek, I think, in this particular instance.
Mortaza in, struggling for all his worth, in for the 5th ball of the innings. Good ball, just ever so slightly back of a length onto off stump, but Morgan's able to play that onto mid-on, more long on, and there is a single taken. Morgan onto 13 from 17 balls. Seems that he can go at any time he wants, and Butler 29 from 22 balls.
Our own Ed Benson has said, things slowing down in an over with 3 sixes and 2 dot balls. Ed, are you still tearing up the legal world in Canada? Let us know.
So the last ball of the 40th over, the last ball of my 10 over stint. There will be some changes in just a second. I have been the fickle finger of fate was pointed through the door at me for me to be able to take my leave of this chair.
I can see the returned. I can see just the nose of David.
The nose, a good ball, full length, but and more misfielding there on the deep square leg boundary. Doesn't cost them a run. Single taken. Mortaza 1 for 50 after 9 overs. England 275 for 3 after 40.
I'm going to put some changeover music on.
The best things in life are free. Just like Guerrilla Commentary. We need money. That's what I want. .com/Guerrilla Cricket. We need money. I don't like the BBC. I prefer Guerrilla Commentary. I want money. $20 for the archive. That's what I want. Or just buy a t-shirt.
Welcome back after that short break, and joined by David Brooke, and we're joined by Andy Ward.
Hello.
And Nick on my right.
Hello.
And we've been enjoying the stroke play from Jason Roy, and now Butler taking over. He's scored 30 off 23 balls, and England are on 275 for 3, and we're entering power play number 3, where no more than 5 fielders are allowed outside that circle. And this one is speared in by Mahidi. Well, he's looking for the the spearing Yorker, but he ends up getting a wide instead. And Mahidi tries the same ball again. This time he does get it in where he wanted it, spearing it into middle stump, and Butler squeezes out a single and looks at the bottom of the toe end of his bat, surveying the damage, which I think is marginal. Oh, he's calling for
a new bat.
He wants a new one. Probably got more than one with him. And
any excuse for a poor shot.
Yep. If Afghanistan versus New Zealand is your jam today, then tune into Guerrilla Cricket South Africa. Starting comms team Cape Fox, Umfo Maraki and Simon Gear.
Nahidi and Morgan's very watchful there, treating that with respect. He hasn't really got going yet.
Andy in Brum says score predictor has reverted to number Wang. Good a method as any.
That's number Wang.
That's number Wang. And Mog says Aggers was shitting himself as that 6 homed in on him.
Good.
And next ball from Mahidi, that's just stroked out by Morgan down for a single.
If you can hit Aggers with a 6, I shall give you 5 of my English pounds.
Yes, and so shall I.
Right, that's 10.
I will buy you a beer, which probably is at least £5 in the cricket ground.
Well, probably is, yeah. Mahidi bowling round the wicket. He's looking again to spear it in. Yes, he gets not quite get the Yorker in. It's more like a half volley, and that's going to tucked away nicely by Joss Butler. Found the gap between long on and deep mid wicket.
And if you kids can't listen, then you bound to see the way you get shot for crossing a boundary,
Sally R56, sorry David, says it appears Joss might have damaged his hip with one of those 6s. He wasn't changing his helmet. The physio was attending him. He seemed to be moving okay on that last shot.
We will keep a watch on his hip movements. And, as England go to 282 for 3.
Some closer than others.
Mahidi round the wicket. Again tries to get that ball up to Yorker length. Butler spears it out. Africa had a bit of fielding, and they're going to jog through for 2. Fairly straightforward.
Yeah, if Mehdi's going to bowl that line from outside leg, spearing into leg, it is a kind of obvious shot on that line to play it into that gap at deep mid wicket.
He's going to struggle to get him out LB, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Mike Mealwood says everything you need to know about Joss, that he backed Roy to top score England's innings.
Right, that's a full toss and doesn't find the gap this time. Butler plays it down to wide mid on, and they go for a single. He's still looking at his bat though, whether he's looking at his hip as well.
Where did that information come from?
Well, Mike's saying he'd backed Roy to top score before the innings.
Oh, Mike had?
Yes. Roy's hit 150 and he still doesn't quite feel safe.
Sorry, I thought that Morgan had backed Joss to top score.
Well, maybe. They're not supposed to do that, but who knows? Evil Scooters is switching loyalties to presumably to the other match, but he says thanks for the company and enjoy the rest of your day. You too.
Bugger off if you're listening to them.
That's the alternative viewpoint, and we're up to date with tweets. Thank you.
Well, Joss Butler's right up there with his strike rate, 180.85. Only Rohit Sharma and AB de Villiers.
That's in the last 10 overs.
Yeah, in the last 10 overs since the 2015 World Cup. So he's right up there as a finisher.
AB de Villiers isn't going to add to that?
No, well, they might need him. Too late now. Faf du Plessis in
like
that group.
He's re-gripping his bat.
Yeah, he's Joss is getting himself reorganised here and getting ready for the final assault. What do you reckon, Andy? You're the betting man here.
I'm still looking at 380 here, and if Joss bats through, maybe 10 or 20 more than that.
It's going to be the Fizz coming back into the attack. And he's got 4 overs left to bowl. And they're going to need him at his best. The Fizz, always a bit of excitement when he comes on to bowl. He's got it all to do now to try and claw something back. There's a slight air of inevitability about proceedings. It's coming in, and Butler, that's a full toss. Butler doesn't get hold of it, bounces over the Fizz, and it's going to go down to long on for a jogged single.
He does look to be struggling a little bit, doesn't he?
Joss?
Yeah. Maybe he should just stop running and
just blast some
stand
sixes.
and deliver.
Having a look at some of these sixes.
Yeah, there's some exciting hitting by Jason Roy before, wasn't it? Got a bit carried away. He was looking for six sixes off and over and got out to the fourth ball.
And why wouldn't you?
Fourth attempt at a six. And indeed, it was a pat on the back from Mahidi rather than the pointing to the pavilion. Owen Morgan having a look around. He's on 15. Looking for the gaps in the field as Mustafiza bowls, and that's down the leg side. That's going to be called a wide. It is Joel Wilson, having recovered from the little collision earlier.
Wide.
Yeah, the full weight of Jason Roy running into him earlier. Didn't want to be on the receiving end of that.
Fortunately, he wasn't going full pelt, but yes, even so.
Much must have it.
Yeah, they've conceded quite a few wides.
They had a good start. They only had 2 extras in the first 10, but
Fizz bowls to Morgan, who just plays that one down to long on, and there's no run.
it is quite important. Even when you're going at 7 and over, it's really important not to bowl wides and no balls, not to bowl big full tosses. Just make sure you're not giving anything. Which, to be fair, I don't think they have given a lot. I've certainly seen teams bowl worse and go for 7 and over.
Well, that's certainly true. 2-8-8-4-3, and Butler looking ominous here. Well, Fizz wants some changes in the field. What's he asking for? In fact,
asking for about 3 more fielders,
yeah,
I think.
He wants some more reinforcements.
Yeah, mid-off is up, deep extra cover's gone out.
Yeah, and he runs up now to Butler. Oh, that's just stroked away by Butler. That's going to beat the inner field, and they're going to well run too. Morgan gives him the thumbs up. That was good running between the wickets.
Pretty good cricket all round, really.
Nice little stroke out by Butler, and they're showing no obvious signs of discomfort. I mean, that was Butler going at reasonable pace, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, maybe it's not running, maybe it's just a swinging, not
swinging.
sure. Yeah.
Here's the Fizz, and Butler's gone for a big straight shot here. That's going to go all the way. It's cleared the small number of rows in that stand. Well, when Butler hits it, they stay hit, that's for sure.
As beautiful as in the man himself.
Universe Joss going for the big one there, and it was a lovely clean.
I think he even middled that,
flow
did
of
he?
the bat.
But
How many sixes is that for Butler? Do we know? Or, is it 2 or 3?
I'm not sure.
No, it's one of those, hindsight being a wonderful thing, but we were looking at a bet on Betway of Joss Butler scoring more than 2.5 sixes. He's got 1 at least.
Well, you're the shrewd punter, Andy.
He's probably got 2 by now. Well, hindsight, it obviously looks like a good bet now. Unfortunately, that doesn't count.
Yeah, a lot of those bets look better in hindsight.
After they've won, yes.
If only you could put the bet on afterwards.
Don't forget our
people
sponsor,
try.
betway.com/GC radio for all the latest odds from our sponsor Betway, who we're indebted to. Well, I've certainly been enjoying the guerrilla cricket coverage.
Joss Butler has 3 sixes.
3 sixes.
Yep. So again, that would have been a winner.
Joss is on 47, and Fizz bowls that short, bounces up a bit more, and all Butler can do there is sort of fend it down.
Wasn't quick, but it was well aimed, wasn't it?
Yeah, shades of the West Indies attack there. First time Bangladesh have tried that today. Dug in short.
Yeah, they just don't have the bowlers to do it.
No.
Though. They don't have the bowlers to bowl quickly enough to do that. And I did mention that at the start of the innings.
I think that surprised him, really, didn't it? Because of that.
Yeah, it's all too rare.
Certainly wasn't expecting it. No, might not get away with another one.
A little bit of extra pace there from Fizz. Mustafiza comes into pole to finish this over. That's again dug in short, and Butler flays at that one. Goes down to deep mid wicket. They're still going to run 2 though. Wasn't particularly timed, but didn't have to put much behind that. And that's the end of that over. So the Fizz has gone for 55 off his 7 overs, and with 8 to go, England are 298 for 3.
Well, it's only a small thing, but these 2 batsmen have only been out there for 30. Butler's had 32 balls, Morgan's had 20, so they're reasonably fresh for the running. What I'm saying is neither one's been out there an hour and a half, so they're not going to be tired out. Jason Roy's base has allowed them to do that, and I think you'll see lots of 2s in these last 8 overs.
Yeah, there's going to be plenty of a lot of pressure going to be put on the Bangladesh fielding,
which has
been
already not been very good.
No, it's been pretty ordinary, as they say in Australia. Few gone through the legs, and 1 or 2 buzzers as well. Some comedy moments. Well, Shakib, he's coming for a bit of stick. He's coming back into the attack.
Shakib, 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 Palace sampai for Worcester. Shakib, 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 Shakib.
He's got 2 overs left, and Morgan manages to find the gap there. It was short outside the off stump, and Morgan latched onto it.
2 plus 2 is on man.
Hands on hips, the Bangladesh captain. What's he going to do to prevent this final onslaught? That was chopped, it was sliced and diced by Morgan.
Sharp.
Yeah, I mean, you bring on your experienced bowler who's got 2 overs left, and he throws up a short hit-me ball outside off stump. It does make you put your hands on your hips as captain.
Yeah, he's relying on Shakib. What's he going to do this time? That's better directed ball. Morgan wants the single. They're going to have to run quickly, but comfortably in at the end of the day.
300 up for England. 303 for 3.
And well, what's your prediction now, Nick? What are you on now?
About 370, 380.
I'm still on 380. They could get a few more, but I'm still on 380.
Yeah, that was our prediction after 30 overs, so we're standing by that. I think I went 375. England 303 for 3. And
1 or 2 big overs gets them there, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There's Shakib, and Butler just plays that one. He wants 2. Won the first one quickly, and he's going to turn and get that fairly comfortably again. So as you said, Andy, lots of 2s.
England do that so well, don't they?
Just take the pace off and hit it into
and
that.
That's 50 up for Joss Butler, coming off 33 balls. Well struck 50 for Joss Butler.
50 runs, your 50 runs. Well done, well done, well done, well done. 50 runs, your 50 runs. The job is only just begun.
2 fours and 3 sixes. That was a wide ball by Shakib, but Butler played it anywhere. Now he really has pulled up a bit late. He ran through for a
he
quick
had to
single,
sprint that one.
and having to put the sprint.
I think had he have left that would probably been called
hit
wide.
the stump, so there's a review going on for Butler at the non-strikers.
I think he's in, but you can see him favouring
really
one
is.
side there, definitely.
Yes, he really is in some discomfort now.
It's just in. Nice ball, just in is the angle.
Bruce Oxenford, the third umpire, is probably going to rule that one just in, but it was pretty
Why
tight.
don't then someone else might use it, get a second chance and go on to do very well and not try and make a...
Indeed, it's not out on the big screen, but it was close, and Butler clearly in some discomfort. And,
maybe just... Whoop.
Shakib,
Fagin.
Shakib to Morgan. It's leggy, and Morgan plays that one out to deep mid wicket. They go through for a single.
Yeah, I wonder if they'll just be thinking, just see out this over. He's one of their most experienced bowlers. Try and target somebody a little bit less senior.
I think if Joss is feeling the running, I think he might just go for 6s.
And well, that was down the leg side. That's Butler has a go at that, but I think that's going to be called. No, there's no wide there.
Must have hit something.
No, it has been given wide.
Yes, it has been given a wide.
Yeah.
Thank you. Last ball, Shakib. Well, it won't be the last ball now. As Butler plays that one down to deep extra cover, and he's going to walk through for a single. And the ball, we're going to look at ball earlier in this over where Butler was clearly in a lot of discomfort.
Yeah, you might know. It was the
thing.
swing. It wasn't the running that seemed to discomfort him. It was reaching out and really swinging through that wide ball.
And I bet Johnny Bairstow's already getting his wicket-keeping gloves out in the changing room, saying, "You know, Captain, I think it's about time."
Yeah, swinging has been the cause of Joss's downfall. Not the first time that a swinger swinging has got people into trouble.
The king of the swingers.
Yeah, the jungle VIP. James Moosh says Archer's down on the team sheet at 10. I'd have thought he was better than Rashid and maybe Plunkett. Well, probably won't come into play today, I don't think.
I think Plunkett's probably better as a power hitter, but
yeah, I've got a lot of time for
experience.
A lot of time for Jofra Archer's batting and Sussex, but that's more in the sort of championship where he has a little bit more time to get in. He averaged nearly 30-40 his first season, and Tony's bringing me some interesting stats here, which I'll read out in a moment. And just having a look at Butler pulling up. So Jason Roy's 153 is the highest ODI score at Sophia Gardens. Beats Sean Marsh's 131 from last year. That's very interesting. And,
Ken McKinley is at a swim gala all morning in Dublin. Praise be for you guys. Keep up the fantastic work. Thank you, Ken.
Jason Roy has overtaken Joss Butler as the leading ODI run scorer at Sophia Gardens. Roy on 407. One played out by Butler down to the leg side boundary for a single, and rather gingerly. I know we said Bairstow was ginger, but this time Butler is running gingerly.
If we were still in the era of runners, he might have a runner at this point, but we're not.
It's Roy versus Butler in terms of the leading ODI run score. Butler was on 307 at the start of this match.
He's in some discomfort, isn't he? He's asking for the physio on again.
Might not see him in the field. I think you might be right about Bairstow reaching for the pads.
I bet he's already got them on.
Yeah, but then he'd have to have them on at tea, which would be pretty village. I'm not ruling it out.
If Johnny Bairstow thinks he's going to get behind the stumps.
Here's the fizz, and Morgan swings that one down to deep square leg. Look, again, I think there's certainly no prospect to that.
Not anymore, no.
Not with Joss limping around, and Joss is going to seek attention. It's middle. Is he coming off? I wonder.
I wonder whether he might come off.
He's had a
You
word
might
with
just
Morgan.
I'm not sure if he wants a new bat.
He's had a little nod of the head from Owen Morgan there.
While we're doing that, George Taylor says the only saving grace is I managed to smuggle in a litre of gin and tonic. Forgot the lemon though, so if any of your listeners in the ground have one spare, please point them my way. The funny thing about this tweet is he's tagged in the ICC. I'm not sure he meant to do that.
ICC, if you've got some lemon, get it to that man.
Well, we saw the official apple before from the ICC. I wonder if there's going to be an official lemon as well. That's chopped down by Butler. He very much stayed on the field after conversation with Morgan. That was a no ball, so there's going to be a free hit. So
that's what I'm talking about. That's careless.
Yeah.
You know, it's just bonus runs. Ed Benson, Butler 100. You heard it here first, and that was 7 minutes ago, to be fair. And Knackle will give us a nice picture from Taunton, filling up nicely. New Zealand bowling.
Yes, Knackle, our man at Taunton today, which coverage will be brought to you by Gorilla SA, Gorilla South Africa,
no ball.
Immediately after this match is finished. It's Morgan who waits now for Mustafizat, and he's coming in to him, and Morgan's got the high back lift. He goes to a big spot. It's gone up in the air. Who wants it? And the wicketkeeper takes it. And
no ball.
But it's a no ball. It was a free hit, so
hit.
I'm getting excited. No one else is, because it was indeed a free hit. And Morgan he practices the shot that he wished he played.
All a bit about nothing.
A lot of fuss about nothing.
Roy Pom still thinks we're doomed. We need 400. We've not got enough runs.
Not enough runs.
Josh Robinson says, how did you get the gin in? What are Gorilla Cricket listeners' favourite booze smuggling tricks?
Right. Is it the duffel bag?
Pringles can.
Yeah, Pringles can. Here's the fizz bowls, and that's Butler. Well, that looked a bit like a tennis, sort of like the ugly tennis shot there. He had to jump up, and obviously impacted by his injury.
Inside a loaf of bread.
Yep. Anyone have a cane full of absinthe, like in the 1910s?
Yes.
Get absolutely caned.
Yep, exactly.
Look for the
hence
worm
the
at the
expression.
Oh, yes, indeed.
I just made up hence the
I
expression.
like that, Pringles. I hadn't thought about that, yeah. That works, does it?
Oh, it doesn't anymore.
No.
All the stewards know.
No, the stewards know the Pringles. The stewards know the Pringles trick. And that's squeezed out to just behind point.
Before they got wise to it, it is the perfect size to slot a bottle in.
Just guys, if you're having that discussion, maybe you should take ICC out of your out of the tag on that one.
So no more ICC lemons. Hendo was showing me the ICC apple that was embossed with the ICC
Oh, George
logo.
Taylor's a pro. False floor in the picnic hamper.
Yeah. Oh, if you
Fizz bowls and Butler
Shot.
swings that one round. There's a man out on the boundary. And just going to run through for a single. He goes on to 56. 3-1-5-4-3 with one ball to go in
What's
this over.
a good one for that is if you put your, the blue ice packs over the top of your booze,
Yeah.
with the booze underneath, and then your food on top, so it just looks like the bottom of its ice, and it keeps your booze cold.
Sorry, I can't help thinking about the Smith and Jones sketch where he goes, "Sir, have you got a false bottom in that suitcase?" And it's an actual false bottom.
Have you seen? You can get like a fake beer gut, which is actually like
Okay,
you
which-
wear around, but it's filled with liquid.
And does it actually have a straw so you drink out of the
Yeah,
beer
yeah,
gut?
and the same. You can get a bra as well, which fills up with wine and has a tap on it.
Nick, you're very well informed in this area.
Yep, yep.
Almost an expert. How does the bra work? Oh, I can guess.
It's a bit, if you've ever seen the film Porky's 2, you'll know how that works.
It's Shakib. Bowled his last over. That's tucked away by Butler for a single.
If you can manage to get you can buy them online, like false sun cream bottles where the bottom unscrews and you can fill it up from the bottom. And so it looks like it's a sun cream, but
You are very well informed on this, Nick.
yes.
Morgan down the wicket. That's going to be a straight six. It's straight into the sight screen at the bottom end of the ground, and a lovely straight shot from Morgan. Must be down to the cathedral end of the ground.
4 years as a student in Headingley left
Yeah,
me
yeah.
very
All
well
the tricks.
experienced.
John Perry after this ball.
Shakib. Morgan going, this time he manages to chop it onto his own foot. Better ball from Shakib.
Yeah, John Perry, when you say runners are no longer a thing, have the laws changed to disallow them? Yes, in international cricket. No runners in international cricket anymore.
That's true.
And Robert Grimwood said, "We certainly have enough runs, but a few more would be nice."
Outside the off stump, Morgan chops it. And Butler is sufficiently mobile to take the single there.
There's something a little bit in the pitch that's too patient. They're struggling to
It's
time it.
not a
these
road,
two.
not a complete road.
So this could be a much better score than even it appears to be at the moment.
I think 370, 380 is enough for England.
Run rates
9
just
times
over
out of 10.
just over 7 and over as Butler drives this powerfully down to long off for a single.
You almost wonder whether England's slightly quicker bowlers might be preferable to
I
hit.
think they might work. Well, I don't know. The other way is that Archer, Wood, Plunkett can bowl some much more threatening short
bowl
balls.
into it, yeah.
Shakib, that must be a wide outside the off stump. And
No,
he gets away with that one.
Yep.
Joel's treating him
I'd be-
kindly.
I'd be
And,
giving the umpire the eyes there.
End of Shakib's spell. He's done for 0 for 71 off 10. England 324 for 3.
Yeah, that was a bit like me umpiring on Sunday. We were in the trailing overs of our innings, batting first, and they brought this young lad on, and even they were saying it was only like his second or third game of cricket, and he was trying to bowl fast, and he was spraying it around, and I let him off 2 or 3 wides because we had 270, and I thought that's loads of runs, and well, I don't have to tell you the rest.
Go on.
They got them.
So we've got 5 overs to go. It's 45 gone, 324 for 3. Morgan on 31. And Shakib Hassan, he went for 7 and over, just over 7 and over there in his spell. 10 overs for 71.
Yeah, he bowled a good 5 or 6 overs at the front, but they did catch hold of him later on in the innings just to even that out. 5 overs left, 324.
England threatening the highest team ODI score at Fire Gardens. It
Did he
was,
roll 2
342 for
2
8.
maidens at the start, yeah, I think so, yeah.
And it's Shaifuddin back into the attack. It bowls that one short, and
Where's that
Butler
gone?
swats it, so that must be over the... There's no one down at the
No
loft.
idea where that's gone.
No idea. But the cameraman certainly doesn't know. And
It's 6.
It is 6. My
Yeah.
God.
I think I must have gone over sort of extra cover.
I believe in miracles. Since you came to bat, you 60 thing, you 60 thing, you. I believe in miracles. not bad. You sexy thing.
Well, that was all power. It landed in the 8th row of that little 10-row stand.
Almost
at the river end
toe
of the
end
ground.
as well, wasn't
yeah,
it?
It didn't look like he got hold of it, no.
I was looking for the fielder, and well, it's gone into
Shows
row
how
number
powerful
8.
he is.
Yeah, indeed.
He is a sexy thing.
And Shayfudin bowls to him. It's on the leg stump, and he picks it up nicely. But it's
out.
going to be out. Just caught inside the boundary there. Sumya takes the catch, and Butler goes for a very entertaining 64.
I think he was swinging from the hip at this point. He's obviously not 100% moving properly, and I think he really did decide just to try and shoot for the fence.
In the conditions, though.
I mean, if there's no fielder there, that would probably have sneaked over the boundary for 6. But
as it is, got not down his throat, but didn't have to move too fast.
No.
Do
you think it's time for some more ginge?
And as if to emphasise the point, Butler sort of just blazed on a bit thick with the limp on the way off there, just in case anyone had noticed. He just, I'm sure it was a different leg earlier.
Maybe. James Humphrey.
I got up Ben Stokes, and he called me a oh, if I'd only seen that Ben Stokes was so mean. And he called me up, said he'd punch my said I made him. The looked up and said, "You angry redhead, you'll get fined again."
It is indeed Ben Stokes. Plays a few practice shots.
Yep, James Humberson says you do the old 2 litres of lemonade, which is actually a 1.5 litres of vodka trick, but here's the clincher, you get your 3-year-old to carry it in. What's the point of having children if you can't make use of them like that?
Yes, that's a nice little tip. Top tip. Top tip indeed. So England threatening the highest team ODI score at Sophia Gardens. It was 342 for 8. That was by England against Australia in 2018 as Shaifuddin bowls a wide down the leg side to Morgan.
Wide.
331 for 4. We're in the 46th over, and the last 12 balls have gone for 17.
Ed Benson still isn't satisfied. More booze tips, please. Have extortionately expensive tickets to Australia v Sri Lanka next week.
Well, if Ed's calling them expensive, they must be expensive. He's Shaifuddin and just turn around the corner by Morgan, and they go through for single.
Yeah, Alex Bell is also going with the hollowed out bread. He said, hollow out a bloomer loaf, insert a bottle of vodka, and then dress the edges as if it's a giant sandwich.
Or even better, just get a full big Hovis, take it all apart, hollow out the middle pieces, put your bottle in, back together, tie it up.
Bread like it used to be.
Putting it back together could be tricky.
No, because you just do it slice by slice, like slide it across. If they do pick it up and notice that it weighs quite a bit more.
Here's Shaifuddin, he bowls to Morgan, doesn't time that one, it goes back to the bowler and there's no run. Yeah, keep those coming in.
Yeah, we hope we're helping you out with those.
A hot water bottle maybe, you know.
I'm not sure how that would taste after 4 or 5 hours.
The thermos flask is too obvious.
Well, yeah. The thing is with the bottle of lemonade is sometimes they're funny about bottles that have been opened. So you'd have to maybe drink the whole lot at the gate.
Yes, I just need you to drink this first. Okay.
Shaifuddin to Stokes is going to get off the mark here. Pushes one, he
2
wants
again.
To set 2 down to Longan, who has to jog in quite a long way to complete the fielding. 334 for 4. I don't think the security's been as tight as it was during the World Cup in South Africa, where bottles of water were confiscated that didn't have the right sponsor's logo on.
Yeah, I always think that's a bit much.
Shaifuddin is going to be bowling to Stokes. And he comes in, and Stokes drives that down to mid-off. He wants to single immediately and runs through for a comfortable single. The end of the 46th over, 4 overs to go. England are 335 for 4.
It depends which ground you're at as well, and your local knowledge counts for a lot. But I know exactly where in Headingley there are gaps in the gates, so if your friends can get to the right place, you can pass it through.
Not people-sized gaps then, but
Well,
bottle-sized
they only need
gaps.
to be bottle-sized, yeah. So one of you goes in, pass the rest through. Not that I'd ever do anything like that, because I'm not tight, being from Yorkshire and all that, but...
The most generous county in the world.
How's your season going at Yorkshire?
4-day cricket, they're doing quite well. Yeah, Don Bess has had a great week for us this week. Scored 91 odd and got 3 wickets.
England's Don Bess, whatever happened to him?
Well, Yorkshire.
Yeah, good loan signing, just playing in county championship matches.
Yeah, so signed for 4 matches initially, but the feeling is that he's going to stay for a little bit longer. I'd be surprised if he didn't end up staying for good, to be honest. He seems to be not getting the matches at Somerset, and he wants to get back in the England team.
Indeed. There's Mossadegh. Was Mahidi, sorry, and that's played out by Morgan just for a single. Mahidi back to bowl his last over. He's on 1 for 62.
Yeah, Morgan happy to play second fiddle to Butler there, understandably, but time for him to shine now.
I think they both need to just swing now. There's enough left in the hutch to...
Sure, yeah.
7.2 the current run rate. It's Mahidi. Bowls around the wicket. That's wide. Morgan gets his bat on it. Doesn't bother leaving that one. Gets it down to with extra cover for a single.
Is Moeen playing today?
He's not.
No,
he's
Moeen
not.
left out.
So
Plunkett
hitting
him.
wise, what have we got left? Plunkett can hit it.
Plunkett can
Well,
hit it.
Archer can.
Yeah.
Archer certainly can, yeah.
I'd still expect Wokes to come in next.
Yeah,
if there's
Wokes,
a
of
wicket.
course, yeah.
Mahidi, and it's played down by Stokes to long off.
I
for a
don't know.
single.
I'd be tempted to send Plunkett in that Plunkett can really hit it.
It's a
Send him in before
possibility.
Wokes.
Yeah, I think so.
wouldn't.
I think Plunkett's just a smasher. He's not going to do much else.
But anyway, England not going to miss Moeen with the bat today.
Mahidi bowls to Morgan. That's gone up in the air. And has that one got the legs? It hasn't got the legs, but neither has the fielder they were trying to identify. Went for that and missed the catch. They've gone through for 2. It was a valiant effort.
It might be Tamim.
And,
I think they hit that. He hit that so dead straight.
Dead straight.
He's bisected long on and long off.
And well, should have been taken because he actually did the hard work, got to it. Would have been a difficult one. And
Just didn't quite get his fingers
yeah.
to it, but he wasn't at full stretch. He could. Oh, and look, he's bruised his knee. Somebody get him
the
a
skin's off
plaster.
his knee. Oh.
You know, give him a kiss on the forehead.
Well, I was just as bad as that the last time I dived for one, to be fair.
Mahidi to Morgan.
He's
gone
got
for
that one.
This one
He's
looks
got
like
that
it's
one.
got the legs, or has it?
Oh, no, he hasn't.
No, it's going to come down, and that's
Ah,
well
it's a
taken.
great catch.
Sumia's taken a lovely catch there, and well, he ran in and threw himself forward. That was a nice bit of fielding by Sumia. Went aerial, long way up in the air, and the fielder Sumia judged that perfectly in the end. He had to reach for it, but he got hold of it and grabbed it.
From what I understand, it's quite windy today in Cardiff, so that those high catches are going to be difficult.
He's happy to have pounced
Took
that
that well.
The end of Morgan, he got 35 of 33 balls. He's out, caught Sumia, bowled Mahidi.
Decent innings.
Yeah, it's okay. He might be a little bit disappointed in the situation to just come off at a run of ball. But
Yeah,
like
well,
I said, he was playing second fiddle to
That's
Butler.
it, yeah. Most of the time he was playing with Butler, and I think it is Wokes that's charged past him.
That's yeah, indeed. It's Chris
I
Wokes
think
who's
it
been given
might
the
come
nod.
up.
It might jingle him up.
Might come up a bit short of 380 now.
He's on Instagram, and he's a Twitter fan. On the Ashes tour, not Ben Stokes, but he'll have to do.
And a bloody nice bloke as well.
You met him?
Just from how he's come across in
comes across
interviews
well.
and
Indeed. Yeah, what's not to like about Chris Wokes.
he's never battered anyone outside a nightclub.
That we know of.
I'm sure we'd know about it if he had.
Raffidi's going to finish the over to Ben Stokes, who just pushes that one quietly out to long off and drop through for a single. So that's 47 overs gone. England 341 for 5.
Josh Robinson, it's easy enough to open a bottle of tonic or tomato juice without breaking the seal, and then tip away a third of the contents and top it up with gin or vodka.
You know, I was waiting for Josh's contribution. I thought he'd have some insight into this. Good afternoon, Josh.
If it was tomato juice, I'd tip away the lot and then just fill it with whatever
else.
Well,
Alan
just some-
Simpson says, great show, guys, listening from Cape Verde. Hello. We are, of course, global and universal. People will be picking us up in Alpha Centauri in 4 years' time. We got a nice picture of Knackle of the Guerrilla Cricket contingent at Taunton. We can see Knackle, we can see Katie, we can see Annie. Does anybody recognise the gentleman just in behind there? Second from left. I don't. I do apologise. Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah, Robert's saying England may well not even make 370. I think they'll make 370.
365 from here.
But, you know, a couple more wickets, but, you know, they could hardly get less than 360, which I think is above par. And I think it's going to be very testing for Bangladesh.
England about to pass that record highest score at Sophia Gardens, 342. They're just 1 run short of it. England hold the record. They did it against Australia in 2018. Here's the fizz. And swatted by Stokes in the air. And caught at the third attempt. It was a real juggling effort. And it was caught at the third attempt. And skipper takes the catch.
Well, I don't think England will be too discouraged by that, just from the fact that Bangladesh are getting a bit of a joy with the short ball.
Ben Stokes didn't make much effort to try and cross there, did he?
No, I think he was just rather disappointed. But after the 2 drops
It's actually
and 1
third
catch,
grab, third grab by Mushrava. First grab and then the second as he threw himself to the floor to pick it up third time. Lucky. Ben Stokes is out for 6 and England are 341 for 6.
Well, you might get your wish now, Nick. It might be Plunkett
Do you
now.
really think, the ex-Yorkshire, now Surrey bodybuilder, all-round good-looking bloke.
The modern-day enforcer.
You should send Tim Tremlett out as ex-Surrey bodybuilders.
He is a big man now, isn't he?
Tremlett smash.
That was a great stat about Plunkett being the longest gap between World Cup matches.
Yes.
Really? How long was that?
He was
8 years or 12 years?
12 years.
I actually used to share a personal trainer with Liam Plunkett. I've met him a few times.
And then he's coming out to bat, yep.
Very nice man.
Plinkett. Plunkett. Plunkett.
So why don't you look like Liam Plunkett then, Nick, if you had the same personal trainer?
Because he worked harder than I do.
That might
what were
be
you
it.
training for?
Dodgeball.
Dodgeball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking about Nick's dodgeball exploits in the green room. We might come on to that at a later point, but we are at a crunch point in this innings.
Curious.
Yeah, well, do tweet us in if you want to hear about Nick's dodgeball adventures.
Both batsmen on 0 having faced 0.
341 for 6, so flurry of wickets. And the Fizz has picked up his first. 1 for 61. Wokes it is who faces his first ball, as Nick said. And that's gone past him. And slower short ball, and that did Wokes.
And he's played about 3 different air shots afterwards.
3 shots that he would have preferred to have played.
Than missing it.
It was a sensational grab at the third attempt, wasn't it?
He made it look a lot harder than he needed to do, but fair play. Should have got that one easily.
Bounced off his arm and his elbow. It's almost like he's doing it on purpose at that point.
It's a good grab.
Yeah, the actual third catch was a good
was
one.
the hardest of the 3.
Explaining to his colleagues how that happened. Wokes has made good contact with this one. It was dropped short, and he's swung round and made excellent timing. Put it over the boundary for 6.
You came out of your it's a 6. It's beautiful and it's mine.
Decent way to get off the mark by Chris Wokes. You made really clean contact with that one. And Fizz might have to reconsider whether he wants to bowl the short stuff at Wokes. Some changes in the field. I think the man's gone back out there to deep square leg now.
I think you'll see them bowling short to Plunkett because they don't want to put it in his arc.
In the slot.
In the slot.
In the slot. And the Fizz coming into... that's a
much better ball.
ball. It was Yorker outside the off stump. Wokes looks to the heavens. He thinks he should have made contact. And chastises himself.
Yeah, I think that's where you need to bowl to Wokes. That's exactly where you don't want to bowl to Plunkett.
Yeah, he's just going to kind of tennis bat that back over your head.
347 for 6. 14 balls left for England to add to that total. And Fizz is into Wokes, who lost that one into the gap of extra cover, and they want 2. They're going to have to rush here, and they're going to make it in the end really comfortably. Decent bit of running there from Wokes and Plunkett, non-striker's end. Our predictions: 349, looking reasonably safe, I should think.
I think this is still a big total from England.
Yeah, we'll have to look at our sponsor Betway to look at the odds, but be very, very cramped as far as England are concerned. Betway/GC Radio.
But you might get a decent price on Bangladesh if you fancy them.
Yes. Here's the Fizz to finish his over, and
Oh,
the kitchen sink of that one. And he really powers that one over the long off boundary. He's happy with that shot. It's gone all the way for a maximum.
That 6 is on fire.
14 from that over.
Yep, not bad. 2 sixes and a wicket. Josh says waiting for someone to sell resealable plastic bottles that look like those cubic ice packs. Cool your picnic with chilled vodka. And John Perry says gin in a strong polythene bag in an inside pocket. Or to reseal alcoholic bottles of lemonade, you can apply a bit of clear nail varnish around the rim. Pro tip there.
This is good. Keep them coming.
Yeah, we like these. All ones for the notebook.
Yeah, but do stop tagging ICC in the tweet discussion. Though.
No, I think tag them, taunt them a little bit. See, make it more fun. Don't tag G4S.
355 with 2 overs left, and I think your call of 370 looks more accurate than mine of 380.
Well, let's see whether the former Yorkshireman now playing for Surrey can add to this.
You're never a former Yorkshire. Once a Yorkshireman, always a Yorkshireman. Surely.
I'm just trying to goad Nick.
No. I've got no hard feelings towards Liam Plunkett. He was a great servant. I know the circumstances under which he left. He didn't want to leave. He went to Yorkshire's arch rivals, but I'll always love him.
Well, a loyal Yorkshireman, Nick.
I'm a loyal Plunkettman.
It's Mortassa back into the attack, and Plunkett does well to pull that one all the way to the boundary mid-wicket for his opening shot. Didn't look like he got everything onto that, but he did well to reach it and to put it right in the gap between the two fielders out there.
Power, that, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just one of those that because you didn't quite get it properly, it has just kind of squirted into the gap.
I think if you look at when it pitches, because it's slightly come off the toe end, there's some spin on it, and I think it's just spun in between the two fielders.
Just played a little draw there.
Yeah,
played like a man with.
Definitely meant to do it.
Played like a man with a good personal trainer.
Used to have one.
Used to have one, yeah. We're into the penultimate over, and Mortassa, that's lifted up nicely by Plunkett. It's going to be 4 more. There's no one down at just behind square. Well placed by Plunkett.
Great guns, I hit the ball. 4 runs, I hit the ball, and it went for 4 runs.
And Plunkett, well, he's only faced 2 balls. He's got them both away to the boundary each time, and that was nicely helped round the corner by Plunkett. and proving his worth. His
Poor,
place in the order.
poor bowling to
Yeah,
bowl
he's
it
bowled
to
2
him
balls
there.
on his legs, yeah.
There's no fielder there for that kind of ball, really.
380 might be back on here. 363 with 10 balls left.
You're welcome. Bit of acceleration from these two, and here's again, and that's driven by Plunkett. Not going to get a boundary this time, but down to long off.
He hits
single.
so cleanly, doesn't he?
Does hit a clean ball, that's for sure. And well, Plunkett proving his worth down the order, and he's on 9 from 3 balls. Have a little chat with Wokes here. I don't know what the chat's about at this stage. It's
Smash
gonna be
it.
to smash it every all parts of the ground.
Interesting field. They're all up on the offside and they're all back on the leg side. See if he can bowl to it.
Indeed. And the fielder's out on the boundary on the leg side. Well, and Wokes lifts that one over the inner ring that Andy was talking about, and
not quite.
A lot on it, but they're going to go through for 2, and that was in the circumstances the best shot to play, because as Andy said, there was no one back on that.
Yeah, he's bowling. Mortaza bowling round the wicket from as wide as he can, really. But Wokes has sort of adjusted to that by just backing away. They're going to end up on the tram line on the leg side if they keep following each other.
Still got 11 so far from this over. Quite expensive.
Yeah, this will be useful for England's net run rate at the end of the tournament. Mortaza's having a look round, making any changes to the field, decides against it, and Wokes steals a peep to on the onside. And not sure whether any changes in the field there or not, but Mortaza's going to do his best to keep the runs down now. Where's he going to bowl to Wokes? Wokes plays out to the offside, just going to get through for a single.
Like a slow ball, maybe?
It's like touch slow, wasn't
73. It's hard to know whether that's slow for some of these Bangladeshi quicks or not.
Quicks in inverted commas?
Yeah,
well, they're
two
not
speeds,
really
slow and even slower.
Yeah, it's medium and slow.
3, 6, 7 for 6. We've got 7 balls to go. Yep, that 380 figure looking like it's going to be achievable. It was Rob who said 380 before, wasn't it? And Mortaza bowls, and that's gone
slot,
boom,
right in the slot, and it's going to go all the way for 6. Beautifully picked up there, and it's going to finish the over. The scoring rate.
If there was one spot where you'd say don't bowl there to Plunkett, it's there.
The slot.
It was just in the slot on the leg stump where Plunkett likes it. Plunkett's put it over the boundary for 6.
Don't forget, if you want all-day cricket action, then you can switch to our colleagues in Guerrilla South Africa during the innings break, and they'll have ball by ball on Afghanistan versus New Zealand.
Indeed, and the Guerrilla South Africa crew entertaining bunch, and you might spot a few familiar jingles as well.
Maybe so. Last over coming up here.
373 for 6 is going to be Shaifuddin who's going to bowl the last over. So
and he's been expensive already, so you know it's not the greatest death bowling, is it? It's not the most intimidating death bowling.
Seen tighter bowling at the close, that's for sure.
It's mild injury bowling.
The crowd have been entertained richly this afternoon.
They haven't caught a thing in the crowd.
Nothing,
I have to
yeah,
say.
all the catches
No.
have gone down.
Wales, hang your head in shame.
Plunkett 15 off 4.
That's
It's
decent.
a nice 10-run boost at the end of the innings, yeah.
Certainly is. The rate's gone up to 7.6.
Wokes 17 off 7. And there's a bag on the pitch.
Oh, bag on the field. Going to have to get rid of that. It's going to cause a bit of a distraction.
What was the Viz cartoon where it was a bin bag instead of a dog? It looks exactly like that.
Shaifuddin bowls, and Wokes this time flays it away through the covers. There's a man back, and they're going to get a single.
Didn't quite
Puts Plunkett
get
back
all
on
that,
strike.
did he?
Let's see whether he can continue his heroics. Comfortably passing that ODI score that's been the highest on this ground, 342. And it's going to take a massive chase from Bangladesh to get here.
Knackle says the Taunton pitch is a belter, dry, good pace and bounce. Little seam movement, but not much. We could have a good game on our hands. I hope so.
And it's also about as big as my living room.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, well I
short
know how
boundaries.
much real estate you can get up north. So
Plunkett plays and misses at this next one. It was full by Shaifuddin.
That's northeast.
And that's it's a good thing. If you know, it's a nice thing. It's a compliment.
Not in North Leeds, it's not.
North Leeds as opposed to South Leeds.
Well, no, South Leeds is the shit bit.
Oh, I see.
It's where Ellen Road is.
Well, yes, for a start.
It's Shaifuddin. He's not going to deliver that ball for some reason. He's got fly in his eye or something.
We all like Leeds.
Riots in Leeds when they lost the playoffs.
I wasn't right. I was
out of
beaming
town.
with laughter.
Silently.
Not silently, no. Some of my best friends are Leeds fans.
Giving them plenty of bants. After, if I remember what they lost, it was they lost 4-3 at home in the second leg or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
There's actually a Wikipedia article of doing a Leeds.
Oh, it's coming like that. They'll never get close to Spursing it.
Shaifuddin gets that one in the block hole to Plunkett, and they're going to go for two. Good running by Wokes, gets back. Direct hit on the stumps, but there's no appeal. I think Wokes was comfortably in the end by some very aggressive running. Decent enough ball.
And yeah, the last 10-12 overs, the only real question has been whether England will get 370 or 380. I mean, they might have got a few more if Butler had stayed fit.
But these two have
done well,
done what's required.
I mean, you still got to do it.
Shaifuddin. Plunkett plays this one through the offside. Has it got the legs to go all the way to the boundary? It has. Dissects the long off and deep extra cover. And there's 4 signalled by Joe.
380 up with 2 balls to go.
So,
could get 390.
Well, indeed.
That went like a tracer bullet.
It certainly did. 380, just 2 balls to go. So if you predicted 380, you're going to be confounded. It's going to go past that figure.
33 runs in the last 12 balls. Again, from England's number 7 and 8. And, that does say a lot for the depth in their batting.
That was in the slot.
And this one is driven powerfully.
That's 4 more.
4 more, right.
That went like a tracer bullet.
Certainly did from Plunkett.
Yeah, the fielder can't have had more than 10 yards to go there at long on. And I know it's a short boundary. But
when you hit them straight like that hard, it's very difficult unless there's a fielder behind the bowler.
What a cameo from Plunkett.
It's
the crowd
very,
are really
very
responding
good. He's got
to
something
this.
like 25 off 8,
And
I think.
it gives the team so much confidence to finish like this.
Yeah, a bit of impetus. I'm not going to say momentum. I'm going to say impetus going into the second innings.
25 off 8 balls, and Plunkett throws everything at this one. And he's not going to get the boundary this time. It's going to be coming through for 2. So that's the end of the 50 overs. England 386 for 6. What a cameo from Plunkett.
Yeah.
27 from 9 balls. Wokes 18 from 8. And, even Trevor Bayliss starts to move at that point.
It's great when you've got, 2 lower order batsmen that can come in and, do something like that. There's not many teams as good as England at kind of getting up to totals like that in that way.
And those are mostly proper shots as well. One or two smears
proper cricket.
One or two smears from Plunkett, but that did the job. But straight sixes, straight drives, cover drives.
He hits it hard.
And Plunkett's normally 9 or 10 in this lineup. England actually have a slightly shorter batting lineup than they often have.
Well, because of Mark Wood.
Yeah, and also the left Moeen out, but that's paid off because they didn't need him with the bat, and they'll feel that Rashid's a better spinner.
And it was Plunkett. It was Plunkett that came in for Moeen, wasn't it? So he's already demonstrated the wisdom of that selection.
They've now got Wood and Archer to open, which is a scary prospect, really, isn't it?
And that's the difference. It's physically scary. You're not physically scared of Masrave Mortaza and his dodgy knees.
As Shakib walks off with his hands in his pockets, looks like he's whistling a tune.
There can't be too many teams at the moment that have got 2 opening bowlers as fast as Archer and Wood. Both.
And,
90
fast
293, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Stark and Cummins maybe, but...
Well, it depends whether Stark's had the Bancroft treatment on the ball or not. But
386 for 6, an innings dominated by Jason Roy, 153, Butler 64, and then Bairstow contributing 51. But it really, at the end, that acceleration from Wokes and Plunkett, and some pretty
daunting total.
Yeah, daunting total, and some disappointing bowling figures. Shakib went for 71, Shaifuddin 2 for 78, and Mahidi 2 for 67. Mossadegh just bowled the 2 overs for 24, and Shaifuddin 2 for 78. So the damage equally distributed across the bowlers, and it was Jason Roy who set that one up really, and England.
Phases 1, England 5.
Yeah, the 5 phases.
You'd
of the
probably
game.
agree with that. That's going to be all from me for today because I'm going to watch Winchmore Hill play Crouch End. I know a few players on both
who are you
teams.
supporting?
Oh, just going to see what happens.
You're supporting cricket.
Exactly, yes.
That's your club, Andy?
I play for Winchmore Hill on Sundays now. I played Saturdays there for 5 years, and I know Crouch End's overseas pro, so have a chat with him.
And I think we've lined up, those of you who missed a very interesting conversation between Tony and Hendo and Sam Northeast from Hampshire during the week. We're going to give you a little taste of that, I think, to entertain you during the interval between innings.
Yep.
Bye for now.
We'll see you then for the chase.
/GC Radio and help keep the bear up to his neck in beers.
You get so terribly unruly now. I mean, I'm manageable. Turns into a bit of a bear. I know what's that. Do you want that?
It's the jingle that goes on forever. Anyway, that's telling you that you can get privileged bets with us through betway.com/GC Radio. Sam, thanks for coming back in for lunch. You may have heard that we were talking about Freddie's Desert Island Discs a few minutes ago. I'm just wondering if you've thought that far ahead. Perhaps when you've starred for England for the next 5 years, and then finally retired at the age of 36 or something like that. And you're asked on, who does it now? Is it Kirsty Young who does Desert Island?
I think it is. It's not Roy Plumley anymore.
Not
Hendo. Did anyone tell you?
Sue Lawley did it for a while. Have you got any sort of favourite songs that you think you might have?
I sort of probably something to do with the Verve actually when I was growing up.
Verve,
yeah.
Wicked. So I'm down with that one.
Yeah, so Verve definitely. I remember I sort of went on a bit of a golden patch of playing. I remember I couldn't stop listening to the Verve because I didn't want my purple patch to end.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So every time I went to the car, I had to put in like Urban Hymns album on.
Right.
Bittersweet Symphony.
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh no, that is fantastic. That's a fantastic little anecdote. That is. We were going to talk to you a little bit about your experience of the One-Day Cup and the fact that you got the chance to captain Hampshire at Lords. Congratulations on that. Top scoring for the second year? Certainly you got runs for the second year.
Yeah, Riley got 100 against Kent and set the game up well the first year. And I mean, this year we never really got going, to be honest. It was, as I was sort of saying on commentary, it was a little bit quite similar to the South Africa innings. You know, we kept losing wickets, and we sort of had to try and sort of keep it all together, and then sort of try and post a score at the end.
Yeah. Sorry, get on time.
I was going to say, did you have any sense of additional sort of sense of history, given that it's the last domestic one-day final at Lords for the foreseeable future, or is that kind of just a job to be got on with?
Do you know what? I think it never really dawned on the players until we got there, almost. You know, and you're like, is this really the last Lords final for a while? You know, and actually, when we just sat back and thought about it, we just thought, you know, what a shame that is. You know, such a brilliant day out. You know, for the spectators last 2 years, you know, we've had real cracking days. I know we didn't win this year, but still, it's such a phenomenal day out. I think it probably dawned on us at the end. I don't think we quite knew. Yeah, we should have probably thought, the game's gonna change in a few years, and you know, we'll see what it's like when it's there. But then to actually play at the last of the Lords for a while, it did feel like it's a bit of an end of an era almost.
And did it feel like was it a letdown, the fact that you were, I mean, we talked about this a little bit off air, that you weren't able to play, well, I guess 3 of your strongest players in that game.
Vince Markram and Liam Dawson.
Yeah, and also, but I mean, that in itself was down to the ICC rules over the World Cup. But you were telling me that you just had Ajinkya Rahane join you, and you tried to get him in, but that they wouldn't have that either.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the rules, isn't it? The ECB rules that we couldn't get Ajinkya in, and then to lose 3. I mean, we all know that the World Cup's the big showpiece, and the rules are rules almost. But hopefully, we could have sort of bent around them and got one of our players in. But it wasn't to be, and who knows what would have happened if they were playing. And Somerset played extremely well on the day.
anyway, so we would have had to have played really well. But it is a bit of a shame like that when you play the whole tournament with sort of your main side, as it were, and then you get to the showpiece final and you can't quite put out your best side. It's a bit disappointing, but it wasn't to be, and Somerset played really well anyway.
But do you think it might have even been a better warm-up game for some of those players than the official warm-ups?
Well, you would have thought. I think we tried every argument in the book, I think, to try and get them to play. But I think, as you said, it was just the ICC that I think as soon as the World Cup warm-up started, I think that was the beginning of the World Cup, and they weren't allowed to play.
Yeah, it seemed like a disappointment for me. I mean, there was sort of contesting things to watch on Sky that day. There was, whenever you get an England-Australia game, even if it doesn't matter at all, you almost feel drawn to watching it. And I sort of was switching between the two and find it quite difficult to stop one. Now, let's talk about Ajinkya Rahane. We have a massive listenership in India, and they will be dying to know what it's like to be playing with him, what he brings to the Hampshire side. Can you outline some of the things that you've noticed since he's joined you?
I think every time I sort of see sort of an international player come and play county cricket, it's the amount of time they have at the crease. That's the real thing which separates sort of the average player to the brilliant. And he just looks like he's got so much time at the crease, and obviously he's growing up playing spin. So when he played the other day at the Isle of Wight, you just knew exactly. He knew exactly what he had to do, and how he built his innings was brilliant. And little snippets of what as he said when the ball was reversing, and he'd come down to me, and those little snippets of information are brilliant for county players. I think for young players coming through, and you see how good a player he is, and you think this India side must be seriously good. To have not a player of his capability in their squad. Yeah, they're in their team. But that's it. I mean, he's only played 2 games for us. I'm sure he'll impact more games in the future.
And I think you both scored hundreds in that game, didn't you? And what was it like being shifted out to the outground? Is that a nice change for you as a professional, or was it something you think you didn't have your home comforts or whatever?
No, I always think. I mean, we always get better crowds. I always think when we go, the spectators like something a bit different.
Yeah.
I think as long as it's the quality of the pitch is of a standard, then absolutely don't mind it. And they put on a really good cricket pitch actually in the end. And so you don't mind that as long as the facilities are good, and it doesn't become a little bit of a joke at times. Some outgrounds you think, this isn't great. This isn't up to the level. But actually, if they can prepare well enough, then I'm all for it.
Do you think, has Rahane said anything to you about his disappointment of missing out on the World Cup? I mean, he would have been one of those who would have been thought about along with the likes of Rayadu. Shankar's finally got the nod. There's Rishabh Pant was another one that was put forward. Has there been any sign that he's felt let down about that?
I haven't talked to him about it, to be honest.
Oh right, okay.
It's not so. But he's come with so much enthusiasm to play county cricket, though. So it's not like he's just turned up and he's not netting, and he's the first one in there, it's the last one to leave. He wants to give other people advice. I saw Joe Weatherly and I think Mason Crane sort of chatting to him for about an hour when we had a bit of rain up at Headingley. Stuff like that's just brilliant. And he's come with a lot of enthusiasm, and even first night actually in the Isle of Wight. He's smart as well, Ajinkya, because he bought everyone dinner that night. And I said,
very nice.
And I said,
amazing how popular he became.
Yeah, he said, well, you don't have to score runs tomorrow now, Ajinkya. So he nailed it first night. And I texted Aidan as well, just saying after that, he's a much better pro than you've ever been. He's only been here a day. So no, he's brilliant. It'll be fantastic to see him play for the next few weeks. I'm sure he's going to put on a bit of a show.
Well, should we just turn to the World Cup probably? But we feel a great sense of excitement for the World Cup, but we're also, most of us, big county fans. Are you able to enjoy the World Cup when you've got kind of other important issues to focus on, like trips to Notts, Chelmsford, Taunton? Yeah, and at the same time, it's all running concurrently to the World Cup. Are you able to follow both? I mean, obviously you concentrate on your job, but how do you stay in touch?
I
keep a weather eye on it?
No, you do. I mean, we're sort of even we've got a week off this week, and you're in and out of the house. But you said when you're in the house, you switch on and make sure you try, and especially if there's an England game on, you make sure and everyone in the changing room sort of switches on to that. But yeah, I mean, you do you should try and keep as much focused on the games as much as possible. It's easy when you come in up at Headingley, the cricket's on in the change room and there's a rain delay. You sort of everyone just sits and watches it, and then you've got to be out there in 5 minutes. No one wants to leave, but. It is. I mean, it's it's fantastic that it's on in England, and what a summer we've got, with the World Cup and the Ashes. And,
absolutely.
And hopefully that's just, brings more people back in and watching cricket in the UK.
I mean, as someone who's just looking from, possibly you'd say the fringes of the England setup, maybe, how strongly is the yearning for you personally to be out there involved in either the Ashes or the World Cup?
It's obviously pretty strong. I mean, I think when you grow up, you want to play for England, don't you? And you want to be a part of these big Ashes series and World Cups and all these sporting memories. Yeah, but I think it's something as you get a little bit older in your career, it doesn't bother you as much.
Right.
I think you strive for it from a young age, and if things aren't going as well, you sometimes then think, oh, I should be performing. I need to play for England. Now it's not that sense, I think you just want to sort of play sort of as well as you can do and make an impact for Hampshire. That's the important things really. And then if anything comes from that, selection is taken out of your hands really. It's up to other people to make that.
Well, I guess you only get selected if you're putting big runs on the board at county level or taking wickets, depending on which your forte is. Don't do that, then international selection isn't going to happen anyway. But it's a sequential thing, isn't it?
Isn't there talk now that really that you have to almost come through the England Lions in order to actually get a chance at England level? If that's true, I'm not sure it is, but if that's true, does that have an effect on the morale of the not say the average county pro in that sense, but the county pros out there who may not have played in those other teams, but are still wanting to have national representation?
I wouldn't say that is the case actually. Someone like Joe I played with for a lot at Kent, and he had a phenomenal season, and Riley has played for England on the back of that, so it's definitely, Roy Burns similar, these guys performed year in year out for their county and deserve to play for England. So I wouldn't say Lions is fantastic, I think it can be seen as a few more youngsters getting into a bit of a learning environment, and so that's more the case. And yes, you're going to find a lot of good players who come through that system, but I wouldn't say it's a shut door for anyone who plays county cricket.
It's interesting. I mean, I interviewed Joe Denley a few years ago, and it would have been a little while after he'd had his first outing as an ODI cricketer. And I think he just started bowling his leg breaks at that point. And I thought, I noticed that a couple of things about this, and I wonder whether he felt sort of a little bit of a letdown coming back to county cricket and not necessarily having established himself at the international level. And it's amazing to see that he's come through again now at this sort of later stage in his career.
I think you go through that, don't you? Have sort of peaks and troughs in your career, and actually the leg spin's really sort of taken off for him. I mean, I remember captaining Joe, and I don't think he ever turned one in about 5 years of me playing with him. But he seems to have really worked hard on that, and that's he's added that to a string to his bow nicely, and he's always been a really good batter. There's no doubt about that. And I think actually him playing in some of these big sort of tournaments around the world, in the Big Bash and Bangladesh, you learn how to play under pressure a lot more in these big under these big crowds, and I think that's been a huge factor as well.
You also play in places where the ball is going to turn for you. It doesn't often turn so much on sort of a late April day at Lord's, for example.
No, it's a bit cold. Yeah.
Well, let's return to the World Cup.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, most people probably agree that England are strong favourites. From what you've seen in the two games so far, do you think that's still the case?
Yeah, I think so. I think you almost have to play the perfect game to beat them. I know that they dropped Joe Root the other day, and that could have been the game. But I just think they just come at you all the time. They're batting, it really does. And with Archer now, I think that's just the missing jigsaw piece they needed. Him. I think other sides are going to be fearing him a lot now.
Have you faced him much?
I faced him quite a bit. I mean, I remember we actually played him against Sussex. That must have been like 2-3 years ago now. at Kenton. No one really knew, and we sort of watched footage of him, and he sort of like ambled in.
Yeah.
And we thought, what's going on? You know, that medium pacer, tick him off the list. And then I remember watching it. I was batting at 4, and Bell Drummond and Sean Dixon were opening, and Jofra's, slung down a few balls past their nose at 90 mile plus. And I thought, well, I might have to wake up a bit here. This guy's a serious talent. And then since then, he's just gone from strength to strength. So I'm not surprised he's done as well as he has done. And I just think he's brilliant. He adds that little bit of an X factor for England now. But they've been such a good white ball side now, and it will be how they handle the pressure. And actually, I was sort of saying the other day that it might not be the end of the world them losing that first game or the second game, sorry, because it might the expectations might just go down a notch.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't like to say that there was an element of complacency, but does something maybe just unconsciously seep in? They've just played a 5-match series against Pakistan. They've won them all, and they've done what they've been asked to do whenever they've been asked to do it. Could there just have been a little bit of complacency in there?
Maybe slightly. I mean, sort of Pakistan like France in Rugby World Cups, aren't they? They just sort of turn up somehow and just play remarkable cricket. They'll probably get bowled out for 50, the next time, but they're just a dangerous side, aren't they? And they get on a bit of a run. And no, I don't think England fielded very well the other day, and then they'll be disappointed with that. They don't normally field as badly as that. But
how do you accommodate for that as a captain? Because often, certainly in big matches, there's something about setting a tone, and you I guess you notice it more when it goes wrong. So poor old Jason Roy dropped one. He then also didn't have a good day with the bat. England lost. I can go back to poor old, the 2011 Ashes? Harmison's first ball.
2006-07. The one
2006-07, way off down leg. Somehow those little moments that kind of set a precedent almost for what's to follow. As a captain, how do you kind of gear your team up to be completely ready, and if something does go wrong, make sure they get through it?
I mean, those things, they happen. I mean, you prepare. They probably prepare exactly the same as they've always prepared, and everything like that. You're in the change room. Morgan's probably thought, I've got this team as ready as I can be. It's brilliant. The confidence is so high, and then something happens, and then it's just, that doesn't quite. And something else, and you just feel momentum sort of sliding away from you, and it's sort of like, it's remarkable how quickly that can change. And as a team, you sort of start to feel down, and it almost takes either a player to come in and do something, and change the game with the ball, but sometimes you just get days like that. We just think nothing's really quite going for us, and the pressure starts to mount, and it's just about trying to stay as relaxed as possible. I always find.
I guess that's true in many walks of life, not just cricket.
No, absolutely.
Some days you just go, it's not quite going to happen today.
Yeah.
But you have to collectively get people out of that feeling, don't you?
I'm just wondering, looking forward to the Ashes, are we getting to a point now that that England have had great problems with the opening batsman, but also we're getting to the sort of twilights of the careers of Jimmy Anderson and Stuart Broad. Who are the guys that you see coming through in the bowling attack that might take over their mantle?
I actually think there's quite a few good young bowlers out there, actually. I mean, Brooks, I played against him at Warwickshire the other week. I thought he was good. Ollie Stone's always been somebody I've always rated extremely highly. And then you've got the Overton brothers, always hard to face. And then Jamie Porter, when you go to Chelmsford, you always know you're going to be up for a battle with a new boy. I think we've got enough there. I really do. Jay Ball, somebody always been around and who's a talent. I think we've got plenty there. I mean, how to replace Jimmy Anderson, Stuart Broad?
Yeah.
I mean, not many. How do you replace Shane Warne? Glenn McGrath. I mean, it's near enough impossible. But I think there's enough there that we can say we've got some good young bowlers coming through.
What do you think of your own chances of forcing your way into this England side? You said as you maybe get a bit older, you don't think of it quite so much, and if it happens, it happens. Is that the outlook that you're taking at the moment? Do you have sort of communication with people involved in the setup who are sort of giving you pointers or anything like that?
No, there's no communication.
Really?
It's it's as you said, it's just about something happens, something might just you might just get lucky, and like Jonathan Trott came in last game in the Ashes and then plays for 4 or 5 years on the back of that. You just never know, but there's no point thinking about it, and especially something as captain now for a bit at Hampshire. All your thoughts really and your time and energy go on the team and trying to get runs, and that's that really.
And that's a good thing, I suppose, in a way. It means you don't have a chance to dwell on what might be or what might be at some point in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's probably tougher for guys who know they're right on the edge, and then they go, right, well, the next few innings are absolutely must, sort of. Vincey or Wesley or Milan, they probably know they're really close, and they have to next few games is crucial for them. I don't really feel that.
You don't think you're close enough, or?
Well, they know they are.
Yeah,
if I am, I wouldn't know.
Right.
But
okay.
It's one of those where if I do score runs, then brilliant. I don't know if I'm in anyone's thoughts or not. But there's no real pressure there for me, I don't.
Right, okay. Can we move on to a couple of sort of controversial topics that we've been involved with? One to do with, it's also the World Cup, which is the notion of the 10-team World Cup. I mean...
Yeah, we're big supporters of a larger World Cup, even though I understand it creates fixture issues. But do you think a 10-team World Cup is right, or would you rather see the chance for some giant killings and the associate nations getting their chance in the sun?
No, I would. I think it's unfair for sides to not be involved. And I think it does make a spectacle. That, and I think that's the only way they're going to develop. You're going to have to throw them right in the sort of the deep end as such. But I think we need to give them the chance to perform in the World Cup.
Well, Ireland and Scotland can certainly point to results against England in recent history, comparatively recent history, that would back up that argument.
Oh, definitely, absolutely, and they seem to raise their game when it comes against, England, and I think so. I think, look, a World Cup is, it's always going to be a great spectacle, but I don't think that's necessarily the point. I think we have to try and widen the World Cup. I think we need to involve more people, more playing countries, and try and get as many people from around the world involved in cricket.
And I think you're with us on that one. Let's concentrate on the tournament still for a little bit. Putting your selectorial hat on, as you're, I'm sure you have to as a captain. Who would you be picking? Who would be, across all of the players that you've seen in the tournament? Who would be your most exciting run scorer that you'd want? Who would be the quick bowler you want? Who would be the spinner you'd pick? To take those three roles, who would you want in your side? You could just pick anyone you wanted.
I'll tell you who I just think the most remarkable cricketer is Andre Russell at the moment. I just think in terms of you talking about an all-rounder, he's got everything at the moment for me. He's, he'd be in your top three out-and-out paceman. If you want somebody to come and strike a quick 100, he'd be right up there. He's an athlete. What a cricketer he is. In terms of if you wanted a T20 signing for any county, Hampshire, I hope you're listening. But he would be. He'd be right up there. He is a phenomenal cricketer. I tell you, I'm really interested to see how the two Aussies go after coming back from their bans. I'm fascinated. I actually think that Warner and Smith, they enjoy it. I think they enjoy the fact that everyone's against them, and they could be too seriously dangerous.
Some people do feed off that feeling of the world is against us, and it can often be turned to advantage, can't it?
Definitely,
by a good coach.
Oh, absolutely. Warner looks like he's just one of those, doesn't he? Yeah.
There's a degree of belligerence about his general approach to life, I think. Yeah.
The more you go at him, the harder he seems to fight back. But those two are going to be really interesting sort of stories for it, and I'm going to be boring, but I really want to. I'd love to see Jofra be the paceman of the tournament, and hopefully he can lead England to World Cup victory.
Do you think he's going to have the stamina to go through a whole summer and take part in the Ashes as well? People were pointing to the fact that when the talk was that he might be selected, that he'd only played 15 or 20 list day games or whatever. Is he such an athlete that he will be able to go through the whole of this tournament, then a 5-test Ashes series, without breaking down. We see so many quicker bowlers breaking down.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think he can. I think it'll be interesting. I mean, I think if England hadn't lost the other day, I think they might have been thinking about rotating, actually.
Yeah.
Now I think they probably want to get back onto winning ways and restore that. But maybe back into the tournament, if they are, through to group, they might start rotating. And the same with the Ashes, they might, think about leaving certain bowlers out in certain places and keeping their bowlers fresh. So it'll be interesting to see what England do, but I mean, you want someone like Jofra, just you want him fresh and you want him running in at 9 mile an hour. There's no point, Mark Wood the same. There's no point of picking these guys, if they're going to just bowl at 85 and win them so they're knackered. You've got to have them at full whack.
That's interesting. You bring up Mark Wood. Actually, I'd like to ask a question about him. I always feel that he's a slightly unlucky bowler and perhaps doesn't quite have the variations that some of the other bowlers have. He just has pure pace. I mean, is that your experience of facing him? That he is, I suppose you want to say he's a one-trick pony. I don't want to say that at all. But would you fear him less than other quicker bowlers?
I've only faced him in the 4-day capability. I haven't faced him in wide ball, so I'm not sure about his variations as such. But he when he's right on it, he's obviously extremely far. You saw that spell in the West Indies. You can change a game, and I think that's what Owen Morgan wants. He wants guys on his side who can change cricket games. There's nothing worse than being in a captain and just thinking, I don't know where to turn here. I've got no ammunition. And I think that's what Woody gives you, and Archie does as well.
Good afternoon, everybody. Rob Sutton back with you for the first 10 overs of Bangladesh's pursuit of 387 to win this match against England.
Johnny Bairstow has the gloves.
Yes, as expected. The news is Joss Buttler has done something to his hip and will not field today. There is a bit of a break before England play again, so hopefully from an English perspective that is nothing too serious. You've already heard Nick, who is with us, who will be doing your jingles for the first 10 overs of this innings.
Good afternoon.
And Al is here once again to read out your tweets, so do get involved at Gorilla Cricket on Twitter.
Good afternoon. They'll only keep me around if you give me stuff to read. So
and we want to keep him around.
Yes.
Tweet. I think we were on something with smuggling booze into ground tips. Have you got any more tips more original than in bread?
Quite frankly, the ingenuity of you as a group of people is quite frankly staggering.
I'll just give you a quick update of the other match, which if you do want to listen to Afghanistan against New Zealand, it is on Gorilla Cricket South Africa. Afghanistan started very well. They were 66 for no wicket after 10 overs, but they have rather subsided to 71 for 4 in the 17th.
That does seem to be...
Jimmy Neesham with 3 of those 4 wickets to fall. That game being played at Taunton. England are out in the field, out in Cardiff.
Whilst we're waiting for those people to arrive, we are partnered by Betway.com, and if you go to Betway.com/GC Radio, then you can see some of our #BetYourWay bets, and there are some that are there in relation to the Bangladesh first innings, and especially the prices available for the
opening partnership.
You can get 9-4 on the opening partnership to score 50, and an amazing 9-1 if you think that they're going to score 100.
To restart.
Well, yes.
Can we ask you again in the green room?
They turn Sam Northeast off.
I do not like Sam.
There we go. Sam Northeast is gone. Suma Sarkis at the wicket. So is Tamim Iqbal for Bangladesh.
Tamim Iqbal. He has a century of Lords. When he's in rhythm, he doesn't need to take a risk and swing. They say his bat is much more deadly than a sword. When he gets up on the pitch to play his thing.